happy. We have no real.
St. Patty's Day.
When is St. Patrick's Day again?
It's on a Tuesday, which kind of sucks, but that's not going to
Oh, well-
stop me.
Well, this is our St. Patrick's Day episode then.
Channel your inner.
It makes sense we're talking about the furries and St.
I
Patrick's
scheduled
Day.
this for St. Patrick's Day. I forgot why we're doing the episode.
Well, yeah, it's because, you know,
I set this up and I forgot why.
to quote Brennan Lee
Oh, your inner
Mulligan,
drunk.
here is the blessed saint driving the snakes out of Ireland. He's murdering pagans, Ebenezer Scrooge. He's making tile right for the Lord.
When was the last time you called somebody a snake? When was
I
the last time you used that insult?
probably when I watched The Bad Guys.
The bullies at school used to call me a snake. Please don't depict me as a snake in your video game.
Oh, I do say I need a name for this treacherous fellow who is not to be trusted. Ah, yes, Grima Wormtongue.
Whenever you say Grima, I'm always thinking about the fucking Fire Emblem character.
I don't know. I was doing the memes about like Tolkien naming his characters.
The Grima and Fire Emblem is cool because he is the final level. You play the entire final level on his back.
Oh dear Christ! I've activated Johnny's Mormonness.
Johnny's a Mormon?
Yes, he's
Mormon?
a Fire Emblem fan.
Is the whole thing.
As
I will
say,
say the series has gotten stupid. Like every single character looks like a VTuber now.
look, Fire Emblem fans are the Mormons of weebs.
No,
I'm
that's
telling you, these games were Kino back in the day. Like Genealogy of the Holy War is still an
You
awesome
have
game.
obviously never played Deadlocked.
I recommend you get your hands on that. Path of Radiance finally became available for the Switch 2. And please, oh please, can the price of that game finally devalue because of that?
No,
It's $300 for a copy of that game on disc.
I hear Deadlock's pretty good.
I played it a little bit on Saturday. It's peak. I love it.
It's Kino.
What did you play? Let me guess. You played the vampire.
It's absolute Kino.
No, I played Venator.
Oh.
And that's what-
Venator, Rem, and I tried a couple of other. I tried Silver because you know, girl failure werewolf. I like her, and Viper because the girl failure lizard. I like her.
No,
We're talking about
that's
gamer
not-
news. The
that is-
first thing I
that
can
is
see,
a
but
sexual
you have an idea. You're trying to share it.
What?
No. Valve, the girl, she is sexual deviant plus girl failure. Get it right.
I know, but look, those are my three modes. It's Deus Vault, where I'm playing Venator, cute little guy posting when I'm playing as Rem, and, girl failure, where I'm playing as Silver or Viper.
Oh, dear God. Look here. Lash is a dick, but he does not deserve her.
I go on to, because we're talking about gamer news with the cold open, I go in, I type in like the V board on 4chan, and people are immediately saying, the first post I see is, when is Chapter 5 of Deltarune coming out? And I'm thinking, oh yeah, it has been a full year, hasn't it?
I forgot Deltarune was
not.
still a thing that Toby Fox was still working on.
It's Chapter 4 completely turned me against it. I've never seen that cast of characters become that unlikable that quickly. It's remarkable. Like every single character is just using you instrumentally. So I have no
It's
real
every
interest
video
in
game.
seeing the completion of Deltarune by this point. Like chapters 5, 6, 7. Like by this point, Toby Fox has completely lost the touch as to why I gravitated towards him as a game developer. And then he did a remake of the Alpha soundtrack. The Alpha soundtrack remake had fucking horrible music. Every single song was completely unlistenable. And now let's get back into the episode.
Yep. Okay, so today we're talking about the Seelie court.
We did a half episode on the She already, so I guess we can reiterate some of the stuff about the She for this first part of the episode. So of course the She, as you know them, they're the elves, the Clockwork Elves. You do the DMT and you see the elves, and this is them.
Yes,
And they
then
tell
you learn
you-
what Art Nouveau is.
You'll get the secrets of the universe. You'll get all this information, all the power you could ever want, but you gotta kill everybody first. That's what they tell you. When we get the power, we're gonna kill everybody. They have
Can you hear
long
me?
ears, they have long
Yes.
hair, they're unnaturally beautiful. At character creation, you get a +2 to appearance after you allocate your stats. So
Yeah.
at character creation, you could theoretically have a appearance 7 character come out the gate.
I feel like once you're past appearance 6, then it could be a veil breach.
But by that point, Kyle, what's that song, I'm Too Sexy? It really is the case in that case.
Yeah, that's the she.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're so attractive that it's a curse, no longer a blessing.
So legitimately, him. Their flaw is if you choose to play as an Encardian, as a she, you get a stalker at character creation.
Exactly. Somebody is so obsessed with you that they'll follow you around the ends of the earth. You get somebody who A-logs you. Here's the curse.
Nice.
And Kyle, I know you hate the man. I'll tell you about it after the episode. I saw something happen today that made me very happy. What else do you really get with the she? You get access to a whole bunch of powers that no one else really gets, like naming, sovereign. I think the cryomancy power. I think the pyromancy power is also available to you too.
The she get is sovereign, time manipulation, and naming. Well,
Oh,
naming.
it's worse than the pyromancy and cryomancy. It's the fucking time stop shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have chaos control.
Yes.
Legitimately, the she by lore are the most powerful sorcerers.
I know Adam hates TV tropes, Adam from Dice Scum, but TV tropes does know what they're talking about every once in a while. It's not the end all be all when it comes to storytelling. Don't rely on them as a crutch. Don't let that site be what tells you what is and isn't a good story. But there's a trope called Storybreaker Power that's like it's a list of superpowers that you cannot have a functioning story if one of your characters, like protagonist or villain, has one of these. The power to stop time is one of those. It's so overpowered no matter what system it is. You just get to press the pause button, you go in, you kill somebody, and then the fight's over.
We found that out in Rage Across New York because we had Freya Sanders fighting with us.
Freya Sanders was rewinding time, not stopping it.
It was still, kind of busted because
Well,
she
at
could
the same
literally
time, she was giving
reset
herself heart
grips.
failure by doing that power.
Yeah.
To be fair, Johnny wasn't exactly playing by the rules enough that it should have stopped her. She was used more as a plot device than actual.
She was a
She was there to
MacGuffin.
keep you alive because we were doing a lot of combat, and I wanted to do a lot of combat, so we needed a healer that could heal at the pace that could outdo Tyler, which is why we did that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with the she, though, is that banality fucks you up twice as bad. For any sort of banality poisoning you would have gotten in a scene, you take twice that amount with the she.
Yup.
And along with that, you can become depressed very easily. There's not any real mechanics written out for that, but it'll happen to you.
Holy shit, the she are just Eldar.
Yes, it really is. I mean, these guys, the White Wolf staff, were directly inspired by Ravenloft and Warhammer Fantasy. This is where you see the influence come into play. Because after all, the White Wolf staff admitted that they made the Korax just because they saw them in Curse of Strahd. That's the only reason why they made that. And the Ratkin were directly inspired by the Skaven from Warhammer Fantasy. So of course these guys were looking at Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k and looked at the Eldar and said, let's put that in our game. Because these guys were not afraid to wear the influences on their sleeves. Because after all, like, I'm trying to remember what book it was. Come on, think. I think it was the Glassworkers book where a character from Asia literally was just Jackie Chan from Super Cop put into the game.
Nice.
And one of the Lasombra is just Del Gribble. He's just Del Gribble.
Wait, nah, you're joking.
That's fucking
Now,
great.
do you want me to pull up the screenshot for you while we're doing this?
Yeah, I want to see
He
this.
really is just Del Gribble.
You know what? This is cursed. I am so sorry for doing this, but I don't care.
I want
To
to
an
see it.
unsuspecting baby, anything might be a weapon. For example, this weapon.
Pakistan.
Hold on, wait, hold on.
This is great.
I could have a Saturday boom power.
Do you want to do an entire shitpost Vampire the Masquerade game where the player characters are just Hank, Dale, Bill, and Boonhauer?
Well,
I call mean, I
could do a pretty good job of that.
I'm telling you, them
What?
anarchs are ruining everything. I'll tell you what.
Man,
I'll
I
tell
got to
you
tell you
what-
about the goddamn old Corsicana he got here. Could the guy be waking up all over there by the time the sun's already down? Then you got to go out and find somebody to get beat off.
There's a screenshot. Like that. Well, don't worry, everybody. We'll get back to the episode after we take the screenshot.
This is gonna be chaos.
Okay, so go ahead. I did not
Yeah,
copy
yeah,
the
yeah,
entire
okay.
page.
Oh,
I'm posting it in
alright.
studio notes. Give me Give me just 1 second to get the screenshot uploaded. It's 2 megabytes in size. Okay, there it is.
Oh my god, what the hell?
This character archetype is called the Baleful Adventure.
And what is this from?
This is
Well,
what-
Sombra
no, this is
revised.
literally cool.
It's Del Gribble. I shit you not. It's Del Gribble.
Hank, you've been brought
Where
on
is
by
he-
the
where is-
lies of the Primogen.
Hold on, Where is he again?
Checking studio notes.
No. Where
Hank, the
did you find this
Primogen
guy
have been
book?
spinning webs just to keep your mind entranced. The Sabbat know what's going on there, Hank. They know that the end is near.
This child is definitely my biological child. It's definitely not like Nancy slept with Zamichi John Redcorn.
Yep.
No.
Would they do that?
No, everyone, no,
Zamichi can't
Johnny,
get
Johnny.
pregnant. Yes, even if you're a man.
Yeah, no, I get that, but my question was, what book did you find this character in again?
Also revised.
The Sombra Revised? Okay.
Yes. But going into it, the Seelie Court. Now, you remember when we were going over the Unseelie that this was the punk fae that kind of drew more attention than it really should have, considering that even though the Anarchs are objectively wrong in every sense of the term, they're still a very popular player option because of the rebellious nature, where World of Darkness kind of jumps between goth, punk, and metal, depending on what kind of game you're playing.
Yep.
But it's always punk.
Like it's goth when it comes to Mage the Ascension and Wraith the Oblivion. It's punk with Vampire the Masquerade and Changeling Dreaming, and it's metal when it comes to Werewolf the Apocalypse and Demon of Fallen. And then Haunted Reckoning is kind of like in the middle of all of those in the triangle. This is where like the punk elements came to play with the Unseelie Court. But you're not really supposed to do that too, because same with Vampire the Masquerade, it also shows you the negative aspects of going punk. Sure, you want to rebel, you want to write your own story, you want to do all this, but are you sure you know how the world's supposed to work? Are you sure that your ideation is going to be what's going to save everybody and make everybody's lives better? Sure, you got rid of the oppressive regime. Now what? Do you actually have the vision and the drive and the resources to make your world a place that you want, that actually is going to reflect your visions? Or did you just replace the elders for the elder that will become you? Is that the case?
No, in reality here, that would end most revolutions. Like with the French Revolution, just because you got rid of people in charge doesn't mean you know how to lead.
The American Revolution was the one that got it right, but the Russian Revolution and the French Revolution, the
Chinese
Vietnam,
Revolution.
this shit never goes right. This never works out.
Yep.
Iran,
Yeah,
They're
bad.
they're finally reaping what they sowed after 50 years, a 50-year long game, right?
Yeah.
Not really, no. They're terrified of getting the shit bombed out of them.
Yeah, it's the history's biggest paper tiger. I've never seen anything that go fucking
No.
nowhere.
Paper
I was
tiger.
so upset when I saw it on the news, but Kyle, you really were right. I really didn't have anything to worry about. But
Yeah,
going
you-
into,
yeah.
but we have 4 laws, Greed. We have 4 laws with the Seelie Court.
Yep, 4 laws.
These guys are the trad fairies. Just any old tradition of your more idealized version of kings and queens. You have this with vampire. You have the Camarilla, where it's the Ventru and the Toreador and the Tremere that want to hang on to the old fantasy of, I used to be a shadow puppeteer king, and I still want to be that in a modern setting as a CEO, but I'm going to act like I'm a king. And same with the Civil War setting with vampire. I have all these different slaves because I'm definitely a king in a modern setting. That kind of shit, and it's the dark aspects of rulership with Vampire the Masquerade.
Yep.
This is a very idealized, rose-tinted glasses idea of what a king and queen are supposed to be. That I am the king, and all my subjects are happy, and that's that. That kind
More
of idea.
Arthurian legend. That's the Arthurian Knights. Very Arthurian.
Yeah,
Yes.
you think you're King Arthur, and because you're she, and because it's almost in your nature to want to do the right thing for your people, you do end up emulating King Arthur, but some she are more successful than others when it comes to this prospect.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
Where we have the 4
It's
laws
the
that define
scale.
the city court go as follow. First one, death before dishonor. Chivalry still lives, honor is the most important virtue, And if you ever go against honor, it would be better for you to die than to live as a dishonorable person. Where you probably wouldn't think that if you were a dishonorable person, but everyone else around you would think that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is also a very common thing across like almost every single book. Do not become an oath breaker.
No. You want to be a man of your word. Do what you say you're going to do. Be the stronger man who will stand up for others and fight for others. That's what you want to do with the Seelie court. If you ever go against that, then you're a hated enemy that is only in business for himself, and it would be better for you to die than to continue living on and causing all this pain and misery for everyone else around you.
Like yeah,
Pretty much.
if I remember correctly, there was something about trolls hunting down oath breakers because they're oath breakers.
Exactly that, yes. How you become Thalain is one of the key elements in it is you break an oath, if I remember that right.
Oh yeah. Yep, I think so.
And same thing when it comes to, like, kind of with my last week at work, I had to fill in for somebody, and it was a territory I was completely unfamiliar with. But I decided I'm still going to do the right thing. I'm still going to do all of the shitty stuff that I really want to do because I want to put this person in a better position than he was before. I want this territory to look better going out of it than I did going into it. It's just that I'm a guy who will suffer from a guilty conscience if I do something genuinely wrong.
Yeah, I get the same thing, especially at work. Like, okay, one of my guys is out at lunch. Client's calling back. I'm gonna cover for them, gather info, so that way they're not caught in their dick in their hand when they leave or when they get back.
You and everyone else in the server know that I really love Schadenfreude, but I can't bring myself to genuinely hurt somebody. I can't bring myself to do that.
You
have
like
to
it better when it's self-inflicted.
You have to make me livid for me to do that to you.
Yes.
And even then, afterwards, I still feel disgusting.
For me, example here, if you've been any time on the server, you heard me. I used to talk a lot of shit, but genuinely deep down, this is my honest God opinion, I'll rather I lose a limb than someone else die.
Mm-hmm. You are a very sarcastic person, but I know that the sarcasm is just a shtick that you do.
Yeah, no.
It's nothing hurtful. Next law is love conquers all. What's the best feeling to feel, Kyle?
Love.
Yes. You feel better doing the right thing than doing the bad thing.
Yes.
It's exactly that. I know the Majin Buu saga in Dragon Ball Z gets clowned on a lot, but really the Buu saga is one of my favorites because of Majin Buu as a character. The whole scene where he's about to attack this blind kid, and the blind kid isn't scared of him because he doesn't know what he's talking to. So Buu says, all right, well, I'm not really going to get satisfied from killing you if you can't see me, so he just fixes the kid's blindness. And then instead of feeling fear, the kid is super happy about it, and then Buu thinks, what's going on here? This isn't the usual reaction. It's this small moment that becomes this massive catalyst for the story where the villain realizes he feels better doing the right thing than the wrong thing. And then it goes on.
If I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, in the Buu thing, when Buu, for the most of the time, again, sorry for doing the actually,
Yeah.
he was a straight up menace. He did not give a rat's ass. He just moved when he did. But when Buu, the fat Buu, a toy or a plaything, or not a toy, a puppy, played with it, and the puppy died, he was like, wait, I was having fun with it, and someone took it away from me. This is what I've been doing to people?
That's the whole thing with them. Because we have a character that learns empathy and feels guilt. Villains with a guilty conscience will immediately win me over if I see them. Whenever it comes to this kind of stuff. Where, especially when it's a visionary villain that realizes that the world he's building will not have a place for him and it's done. That type of character.
Yep.
Next up, beauty is life. Why would you want to live in a shithole? Why would you choose this? Kyle, you want to live in an apartment where you got a hole in the floor that goes directly into your neighbor's kitchen, there's rat shit in your bedroom, and there's mold in your bathroom?
No, I tend to take a great deal of pride in my living space, matter of fact.
You want to live in a beautiful house with a yard?
With a beautiful wife. And
my wife, a beautiful wife.
Different
She's
thing,
boring.
But no, I get, yes, absolutely take care of the place that you call home because it is indeed your home.
Yes, you want to live in a place that is beautiful, that you want to thrive in, a place that you want to be. So do your part in making the world a more beautiful place.
Yes, indeed.
And last one, never forget a debt. If you do something that leads to you owing somebody, if you take advantage of somebody, please pay them back for the labor that you asked of them. Give credit where it's due, pay what you owe, do the right thing. That's the key thing with the city court. Do what is right. Be virtuous. It's ultimately there's not many strings attached to the city court. So
No, it
usually this
just
comes up
means
fine. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, why did they do the Knife Our Knives? Why did the city court come back and say we have to kill the commoners? Well, we're going to get to that in this episode. We finally have an
yeah,
explanation for you as to why the Knife Our Knives happened.
yeah.
Yep.
You know what? I'll say this here to jump ahead a little bit here.
Yeah,
Despite all the rules we have here, it never says anything about being a good person.
no, you want to be a morally righteous person. You don't need to be nice about it, though.
Yep.
You could still be a hard ass. You can still be a dickhead. You can still be a jerk ass, and get away with it as long as you did objectively the right thing. Because after
They're
all,
very lawful neutral in that regard.
yes,
Lawful evil.
How
it
about
can be
evil?
lawful evil as well,
Yeah.
where you're doing the right thing, but there's also some sort of direct benefit for you involved as well. Conflicts of interest can exist within the city court.
We're doing the wrong thing for the right reason.
Yes, or the right thing for the wrong reason. Kyle, if you do something virtuous, but it was ultimately a self-fulfilling act in doing the virtuous thing, is it still virtuous?
I mean, if everybody else is happy and you're happy as well, I mean, that's a double win, I guess.
Because ultimately, that's well, Kyle, if you remember Watchmen, that's the key theme. That's the theme of Watchmen. Is that is an act virtuous if there was an ulterior motive behind it? That's the clear question
Yeah.
at play.
I'm-
Billy Butch. That's his name, all right? Butch?
Oh
Billy?
no, you're thinking of the boys.
Oh, the boys. Oh, my apologies.
Rorschach is the character you want to say, that you want to name.
Oh yeah, Rorschach. Yeah, no, that's Rorschach. Or
Yeah.
what was he called? The guy who was the smartest human in the world?
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias. Here, when he was talking to Doctor Manhattan, he says, and he basically like, "I'll nuke a city so that the world will unite together and be better people." But it's a terrible thing. But ultimately, his actions would have led to world peace.
And it did succeed. And the
Yeah.
question as to whether or not it was worth the cost becomes the key theme of the last part of the story. All right, let's get into these houses. So that's basically the rundown of the sheet. You're essentially here for rulership, is in your nature to rule. You're very beautiful. You have all these different secret powers. And now we're going to talk about the houses that use that power.
yes.
Let's get into it. The first one is well, with this episode, we have to talk about these houses in a specific order. In the Unseelie episode, we were able to go alphabetical because almost all the house stories were self-contained. With the Seelie Court, all of these stories are hyperlinked together. You cannot tell this out of order because it will not make sense. So the first house that we'll be talking about is House Eilund. The shield is now up on screen. There it is. Gave Kyle a minute to pull over there.
Yep.
It is spelled Eiluned, or how the book wants me to say it, Eileened. What do you think it is? Because it looks like it's spelled Eilund, but like Eileened. Well,
I believe it is Islanded.
Eileened. Alright, so
Yes.
we'll call it that. So we of course have to talk about the lady herself, Lady Eileened. You remember who was supposed to be the king of all the fairies? One Lord Ailil,
Yes,
back in
long
the
time.
Unseelie episode.
Yeah.
Well, their dad was one Alanyad, who was a guy who's around during the golden age of legends, the third age, and he said, "I am going to appoint my son to be the king of the domain over Earth, and deciding how all fairies are going to live on Earth." And of course, Ailil would immediately take up the reins of that. Very happy to take this the position of power. I don't think we have a picture of Alunid by herself. No, we don't. We don't have a picture
It
of her
does
by
not
herself.
appear so, no.
No. And Alunid said, "Hold on a minute. I have a vision." she was somebody who had this natural gift of foresight. Nobody could use soothsay better than her, to the point where she was using it involuntarily without spending glamour at all. She goes over and has a conversation with, I don't know, Lilith,
Well,
you know?
that's a little rough right there, isn't it?
And she comes back from that conversation with a prophecy where she says, at some point, humanity is going to turn on us. There will be a poison created called banality. It is going to kill all of us. She tells this to Lord Alil, and he immediately disregards everything he says, because Alil, as we went over before in that Unseen episode, is a man who would rather have a dying world than a world that he does not rule. He'd rather go as a king than actually defend and protect his own people. So what does Aluna do? She directly undermines his rulership, goes and says, this is a sham king. Don't listen to a single thing he says. You instead need to follow me, because here's the doomsday prophecy. It's going to be called the Sundering. We're all going to die on Earth. We're going to have to luck ourselves to Arcadia, or we'll die a slow, painful death, because humanity will eventually forget who we are and reach a point where no imagination will exist at all. If you do what I say, we can avoid it. And she was successful in that. People completely disregard what Halil said, and the entire kingdom on Earth was split between the Seelie court, where Alunid was going to be in charge, but they decided, no, let's go off a High King system instead. And King Alil became King Nothing, who would then go off and form an unseelie court that was made directly to spite everything the Seelie court stood for. Definitely didn't take the loss very well, now did he?
No, he did not.
And Alunid said, well, it's great they want me to be queen and everything, but I don't want to be queen. I'm just going to be your oracle. I'm just going to be off to the side, and I'm going to train my followers to follow my prophecies and be able to see the future the same way that I see the future, because at one day, I am going to die. I can't just keep passing my soul around from person to person to person, as we do with changelings. At some point, Cold Iron is going to find me and is going to kill me. So I need to train you to have the same kind of powers as me. Which he does. House Alunid is known for being the house of sorcerers and sorceresses. They're very powerful mages, like pseudo-mages by changing standards, that have versatility and knowledge just about every damn cantrip there is. Because, sure, with the Change Your Dreaming sheet, you have the attributes, you have the skills, but is anyone actually putting XP in those when they play Change Your Dreaming? No, you're not doing that shit. Because when it comes to this power scaling, it made sense in other games. Vampire the Masquerade, you want to use Dominate, you have to have good points of manipulation and charisma. You want to use Potence, you need to use Strength with it. You want to use some of these crazy-ass powers with Vicissitude and Tenebration? Well, let's hope you have the stats to back that up. Same with World of the Apocalypse. We began to drift away with that with Mage the Ascension, with the Ret system, but at least we had Paradox to counter that. And then Right the Oblivion, even though it balanced out the power scaling, brought in what would become a very bad habit, where in order to use your Arcanoi, it was attribute combined with Arcanos level. Which is fine, but that led to changing the Dreaming's power scale of your cantrip's power now needs to go off of an art and realm roll, where that is going to be the incentive for all of your XP, where you will dump all of your XP into it, and that character creation, you will now have a character that can just set himself on fire. And yes, Kyle, we went over this in the server. You could kill Marcus Fattel at character creation by just setting yourself on fire and just walking into his Obtenebrous form.
Theoretically, yeah.
You can just do that.
Jesus.
So this is what I mean. If you pick House Alunid, you are the sweatiest changing power gamer. You are picking this group only because of the direct power that you get from them, and you're not actually playing a character now, are you? But if you are playing a character, this is what you get.
House. There's other houses that's more broken than this.
Well, no, I think this is the worst. I think mechanically this is the strongest.
I mean, what about the house?
Think
that can endure stupid levels of banality. Then you mid-max into being a sorcerer. Then you just
that's
say,
House
"Yep, there's
Lord.
nothing
That's
I can do about that."
Yeah, that's worse. That is worse. But
to summarize it here, they can endure high places of banality, and yeah, just bad.
Now, with your boon with the House Islanded, all of your cantrips will gain an automatic success no matter what roll. No need to spend a point of willpower for automatic success. Every fucking cantrip you fucking cast has one success going into it.
Automatically?
Yes.
Damn.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Behold, as your changing character will immediately learn Metamorphosis, and now every fucking fight ends in one turn.
It's resistible.
It is. Oh, it's that fucking it's the Alice in Wonderland power. Lick me and shrink in size, and then you do, and you just step on the monster, and then combat's over. As easy as that.
Yeah.
Your flaw, though, is that you have overwhelming curiosity. You need to spend a point of willpower to break away from something that has your interest, something that your storyteller thankfully can enforce at any point. You have what we might as well call it, like it is, the Torador flaw when you play as this house. But going to the history, after they undermined King Galliard, because that's technically what she did, they became hunters of the Thalane. As it turns out, with the Changeling, if you dabble too deeply into banality and evil, you'll become a Thalane. Kala, if we haven't explained this to you before, it is essentially an evil version of the Kith, so to speak.
Well, to be more accurate, if fairies, changelings are born from dreams, Thylane are born from nightmares.
Yes, and it's a corrupted nightmare soul that keeps passing around from person to person. You can kill them, but they'll just reincarnate in somebody else down the road.
Yeah, they are legitimately the dark shadow of fairies. They have to be killed the same way that you permanently kill a fairy.
It's the same problem that you're faced with in Realm of the Apocalypse, Kyle. You can kill the Fomori, you can kill the BSD, but that Bane is going to run back to Malpheus and come back in some way, some form.
Yeah.
So the fight never really ends, now does it?
Well, I mean, you go after you die, you go back to Mother Gaia until she puts you in another changeling seed.
Now, the big
what?
thing with the
Big what?
Thylane, and this is a big nightmarish thing that I think a lot of people, mostly because a lot of people don't play Change and Dream, is unlike them, they don't care about an end game. They want to end the world because they were born from nightmares. When you
They
have
just
a
wanna
dream of
destroy.
starvation, they don't care if they exist. They will make the world starve to death.
It's the same as trying to reason with a Nefati. You can't do it, Kyle. It's impossible. And what House Alunid was doing is that they were looking for the Thalane, and they would just fucking kill him. Easy as
Let's
that.
just fucking kill him.
We're sorcerers who can see the future. We know when the Thalane are going to attack, and we're just going to blow them up with pyros, freeze them solid with cryos, or just stop time and pull off our best Dio Brando impression. And then that's it.
Actually,
So,
it never says they. Actually, you could definitely kill them and when they stop time.
Yes.
Holy shit! I just realized here, you have that level 6 temporis power at character creation.
Yes, this is why I tell you Change Your Jamie's fucking stupid mechanically, because you have access to all this broken shit.
we just gotta make equally broken bad
You can have
guys.
that if you play as an elder, but that's an elder. This is just basic.
But
Look,
going
if
into
you
the
if you
Sundering,
make everything broken, then nothing is broken.
if everybody's super, nobody's super.
Exactly.
So going into the Sundering, essentially Alunid called it like it was. Humanity was beginning to turn on the changelings. They were forming metals. They were taking cold iron. As it turns out, the Puka played too many tricks. The Redcaps ate too many people. The Sluas shot too many people. And now we gotta turn on the fairies that once gave us glamour. She calls it like it is, and she says, what we need to do is fortify the freeholds. We need to build these giant castles and fortresses in our freeholds that are made to resist a giant ocean of banality, and we mean this a literal ocean of banality that is going to sweep across the world from this specific spot, and we need to fortify this today. She goes around and she's an architect saying, we need to build this, we need to build this. House Dougal, please build all this stuff for me so we can start fortifying these places. And essentially the entire Sundering is spent doing that. Now, a few of them got the bright idea to go ahead and sail all the way to America. They build the super ship, and they sail across the Atlantic Ocean and reach America, and they're hanging out with the Ninhi. Little did they know that was not going to save them. But at least they built a fortified glamour fortress there, and at least the Ninhi also knew this was going to be a thing, so the Ninhi were already prepared. Same with the Menehine, I think I'm forgetting what they're called, but it doesn't matter. Too much stuff coming out at one time. The biggest one that they built was in France, in Brittany, France. It was this giant tower that was supposed to be resistant to all forms of banality, and this was going to be the place that was going to last the supposed shattering. And it did not last, it collapsed. And when the shattering happened, this massive banality ocean swept across the entire world, and all those freeholds I told you about, Kyle, when the ocean reached them, those freeholds were shot into the sky.
Okay. Like into the sky,
And they
literally?
And they just lifted off the ground, flew into the sky, and then landed in the Dreaming.
In Arcadia.
Yes. So you didn't even know it. You didn't even need to go through a trial. You just built your dream castle, and then your dream castle just transported
How to
itself
put
into
this
the
here?
Dreaming.
To some point, the dreaming, yeah, and how to put this here? The bridge to the dreaming broke down, and a lot of fairies that were here or trapped here since the path was broke. It was a whole mess.
So basically, almost every member of House Alunid was trapped in a Dreaming by this point. The plan did not go as planned, but they survived, didn't they?
Well, yeah, but it left everybody else there to fend for themselves.
Well, also, I'll note here too, a lot of Slua got dragged in with them because a lot of their tenants in those castles were Slua.
Interesting.
So cool. You're now living with the Tim Burton people, in a tropical island that nobody can really get to. Now there's still portals in France, where somewhere in France, if you go in a forest in France and you walk through the forest long enough and walk through the wrong portal, wrong threshold, you will end up on a tropical island that has a giant castle on it that is filled with elves and Tim Burton people. That will happen to you.
Is that why they painted them on the edge of maps where they thought the edge of the world was?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that's what it is. And of course, Alanid departed. She says, "Well, this didn't go as planned. All my freeholds are flying into space. I'm just going to go to a Dreaming with them to make sure they don't lose their minds. I'm going to trust you with my prophecies. Here's my big book of apocalyptic prophecies. Read it well. Okay, I'm dipping Alanid out." And then she left. And then came the Age of Twilight, where for 600 years, basically nothing happens with any of these stories. Like, nothing really happens. Of course, these people try doing the best they can to follow Alunet's rules at first. But then they begin to think, well, with these prophecies, she's not really around for this anymore. How about we just, I don't know, break Seelie court law and go into business for ourselves? And so they did. And so, slowly but surely, these sorcerers started becoming dark sorcerers, where they started becoming unseelie by nature. They would tell people that they were Seelie, but they were actually unseelie. And we're going to go cast this magic, forcibly rip glamour from people's heads, put people through Rhapsody, intentionally create more and more autumn people to create crassuses that we then come in and save changelings from in order to gain more power, Hegelian dialectics. You've seen this issue how many times throughout history?
All
It's a
the
hustle.
time.
And when they come back from Arcadia during the Resurgence, where you remember how that happened, right? The 1969 Apollo mission.
Yep. We
Is
went
what
to
caused
the moon, and I guess they saw the Saturn V launching from Florida from one of those castles, and went, "Oh, hey, look at that! I think we can come back now."
It was the belief of science fiction magic that led to the resurgence of changelings. So when House Alunid comes back, imagine they're surprised when they find out that their kings and queens that they trusted have become unseelie. This led to House Alunid going back to the Seelie court Shi, and they said, "I'm sorry, just about every member of our faction is compromised." Well, how do you know? And they list off a long sheet of reasons. So not only have our people become unseelie, but they have completely forgone our prophecies in favor of teaming up with the Order of Hermes. They're now speaking directly with the Order of Hermes and trying to get power from them, or they think they can do changing cantrips and hedge magic at the same time. And if somebody doesn't get the changing seed, they're teaching them witchcraft through books that they stole from the Order of Hermes, and are now teaching people how to be witches out in the woods, essentially just creating prospects for the Nafani to recruit from at the end
Oh
of the
yeah,
day.
great job.
Along with it, too, they're directly talking with the Shadow Lords, and the Shadow Lords are exploiting them and using them for knowledge. They're learning what changelings are. They're learning how to kill changelings, and now they're taking the freeholds and turning them into Cairns.
That is a very bad idea.
And after finding that out, House Undead says, I think the only way to really redeem our house is to kill everybody. And after speaking with House Gwydion said, I want to say you're right, Elnid, but you're right. We gotta do it. Because they were so convinced that if House Elnid was compromised, then however many other houses are also compromised. In fact, how many houses became extinct after the shattering? And they interrupted them. A lot.
All of them.
So, of course, it was under orders of House Elnid that we needed to do the Night of Iron Knives. That's why it happened.
Let's just invite
Because they were
everybody
so
for dinner
convinced
and stab them.
They were so convinced that every member of rulership amongst the Commoner Kits were on Seelie or were going to become on Seelie that they just needed to kill them. And of course, this would lead to the Resurgence War that would continue until High King David came in, took Excalibur, and forcibly ended the fight. And that's basically the history of House Undead for you. Amazing.
Yep, good job.
And how do you play as one of these? Have you seen a witch? Have you seen a wizard?
Oh, I've
Have you
never
seen-
seen a witch before.
Have you ever seen a warlock? Well, just pick a spellcaster archetype from whatever favorite story you have and replicate that. That's
Be
how you play as one
Merlin.
of these people. Yeah, Merlin, Lady of the Lake. Oh, come on, there's got to be some other wizard in fiction I can name. Gandalf.
Yep.
When it comes to the Lord of the Rings, Kyle, you pick any one member of the Fellowship of the Ring to follow you into an adventure. Who do you pick?
I would pick Aragon myself.
That's the wrong answer. You pick Gandalf.
Oh, why Gandalf?
No, I'm good.
You have no reason to not take Gandalf. The man can do everything.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
no,
but
no,
I
you
kind of
don't
want
get
the
Gandalf.
I kind of want the guy who puppets an army of the dead. I think that's awesome.
No. Don't get me wrong. Gandalf is very good. It's just that Gandalf is a wizard. No, an angel, pretending to be a wizard, and I'll get judged so heavily.
Just don't do anything sussing from him. It'll be fine.
Nah, I'm gonna get judged to hell and back. I'm good.
See, all of the two, we have something called the Ishit to go over with these houses. Now, what is the Ishit? Essentially, another group of laws that every fairy also follows in different ways. All these different houses have different ways they interpret these laws. So we'll be going over these with almost every houses. I feel like we're going to skip House Bumo and House. Why is the name escaping me? Fuck.
Duval?
Not Dougal. We gotta go over Dougal.
Fiona?
Fiona. Yeah, we'll skip those two when it comes to this segment, but we'll read it for House Silo did. So the right of the mints. Fey society exists and thrives because of a social hierarchy, so you must enforce it. Sounds right?
Yeah.
If you see a line, you must stand in it. But this also leads to a few house squabbles over the year where everybody wants to say, I have jurisdiction over you. That's my minion. He's not your minion. That's my gopher. He's not your gopher. I want to be in charge. Which leads to a bunch of politicking fighting that has restricted the Uncity Court from actually making any real progress against the City Court now has it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you guys keep bickering, you won't ever shut the fuck up, and that's the whole issue. The right to dream. Do you have a right to have imagination?
Well, obviously, Arcadia wouldn't
All right,
exist
well-
without it.
All right, well, how are you saying this name?
Islanded?
They say you have a right to dream, so therefore go ahead and dream. Just don't dream of anything evil.
Dream.
It's just they want you to think nice thoughts. Don't go and think of a selfish thought. Don't dream about robbing a bank, because that's going to create a bank robbing chimera that we have to deal with.
That sounds kind of awesome.
Well, not for them. They have to be the ones to fix it.
I know, but just in concept, that sounds like an awesome fight.
An
No.
invisible and audible bank robber.
No. Here's one thing I must clarify here about chimeras. Chimeras naturally do not exist in reality.
Mm-hmm. Unless they find a way out the trod.
Yes. But occasionally, this is a rare thing, chimeras have an ability called Weird. It allows chimeras similar to fairies to manifest fully in reality. So, you theoretically could have an entire game where you just think you're fighting some type of mythical monster, but no, it's just a chimera who just keeps manifesting in reality, then leaving.
The right of ignorance, which is essentially their version of the veil. Don't go around telling people you're a changeling. Because after all, How powerful is a prophet if everybody knows the prophet is a prophet?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's
Work for
true.
Jesus.
If you tell
Uh,
everybody you're a prophet, then they're going to paint a target on your back, sell you out for Barabbas, and then crucify you.
Yeah,
So,
just like
no,
Jesus.
bro, let's tell you out for 7 pieces of silver.
But
so this is the
then
whole thing.
he Judas basically sold out Jesus for like $58.
Essentially, yes, very cheap.
He
Sold
saw a
you out for a
dude
hamburger at
doing literal
McDonald's.
sorcery in front of him and decided to betray him for the price of a fucking meal.
And what you want to do with you notice that House Alunid rules the same way as House Alil. You rule from the shadows. It's a shadow government Seelie court. Don't tell people that you're the king and queen. You want to be the man behind the man, guiding everybody along. So when you have a she that is of this house, they're usually the advisor of a commoner king within a territory. They're off to the side, whispering the prophecies, whispering everything into their ear, making sure that the king actually knows what they're doing and what they're talking about. And when crisis arises, that's when you step out, you shoot your lightning bolts out of your fist, and then you solve the problem. Basically,
It seems to
the
work.
same. You want to operate very much like Merlin in this Arthurian legend analogy, so to speak. Because even though King Arthur is the king, how much can you really do without Merlin on his side?
Well,
Power, am I
you
right?
can kill people with a sword, but you won't know who to kill with a sword.
The right to rescue. Do we have the right to rescue you from your shitty, boring, banal life?
Well, yeah, because if we
I
save
wish
you
you
from
would.
banality, then there's less banality.
Well, this house wishes they could do it, but they also realize that banality is a fucking bitch. And even though they have all these crazy cantrips, they're not militant. So they're going to get someone else to do that job for them. And
Such is
except
leadership.
the right to safe haven, which is something that they firmly believe in. Yes, you should have a home to come to that is free from banality, that is not going to kill you. And right, the right to life. Do you deserve to live? Yes.
Most people.
Yes. This house says that yes, you do deserve to live. Even though they are the ones that started the Night of Iron Knives, they did so with a very heavy heart. They didn't want to kill the compromised houses, but it had to be done. There was no other way. And of course, this is one of those houses that takes taking an oath very fucking seriously. You don't ever break your promise with these people. Because after all, they will not form an oath with you to begin with if you're a dishonest person, because keep in mind, these are the people that specialize in soothsay, they can see the future, and they know if you're going to lie to them going into business with you. So why would they have any reason to trust you if you're going to lie to them?
Short-term gains, I guess.
They know you're
Or
going
to
to lie
take
before you even
advantage of you
tell them.
after you inevitably break your oath.
Mm-hmm. And there we go. So what do we think of the wizards?
Wizards.
The Wizard
Wizards.
Harry.
I do. It's interesting hearing the Accordance War from their side, because from every other kith that we've covered thus far, it's been the same song and dance of, oh, our manager has been an absentee for the better part of 5 centuries. Where the hell have you been? And then, they come in, see what's going on, and then immediately get pissy and stab us in the back and start a whole war over it, instead of just trying to figure out, how to, get back into society. And now to read that from House Islanded's side, and here it's like, wow, things got really fucked while we were away because our plan kind of backfired, and now everybody's corrupt. Maybe it was a misjudgment on how much corruption had actually seeped into the courts, or they, maybe they're bending the truth a little bit in this story. It's hard to tell.
And even then, it was a case of I did what I had to do. I didn't want to kill you, but you left me with no other option.
Well, that too, and the other fact that the she. Wait, have we done an episode on the she yet?
Well, but this is the episode.
Oh yeah. The she. Oh wait, hold on. I should probably look up their deep and far dream. I'll do that later. The she. So you know how the trolls despise lying, even if don't get hurt by it, right?
Yes.
The she are the same way. like legitimately, if you told the she to step back and not be in control, the she would actually fight you on that, and not because, oh wow, the she's an egomaniac. No, the she are the literal embodiment of rulers. For the she not to be in charge, another she must be in charge. They don't like it.
For example, Kyle, a bunch of changelings are driving a car. A she is one of the characters in it. The she is going to insist that the she drives. If the she is not driving, the she is going to be on either the passenger seat or in the back seat, constantly telling the driver how to drive the car.
Yeah.
That sounds annoying as shit.
Yes.
It is. Most she can get over it somewhat, but basically is if a she's not in charge for prolonged moments of life, they get very depressed. Look, I get it. The she are dickheads, but everyone just wants to blame the she and ignore the fact that they do get mental trauma not being in charge.
It's very much like the Venture into Silverfangs. A Silverfang is going to have his ass chapped if he's not the alpha in the pack, and the Venture are always going to look at a Camarilla prince that isn't them and swear they can do it better.
Yeah, it's just the fact that the she actually do their job effectively whenever they are in charge, though.
Yes.
Yep.
It's just in their blood to lead. How's Squidian? Let's go into them. Put that green shit up on screen.
Right. Where the fuck I put Quiddy at?
So this is the main character of the story, basically. By this point, all roads lead to House Gwydion. Every single house is branching off of these guys afterwards. So House Alil gets King Alil essentially gets ousted. Nobody takes him seriously anymore. We have a character in the story that we now need to introduce. Bring him up on the screen for a very brief moment, Kyle, who was known as Gwydion. And there he is.
Gwydion.
This looks like a pulp, like fantasy cover.
It does,
doesn't
and
it?
I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's not hugging onto his leg. That's the one thing that's missing.
that is true. It's a more gender balanced pulp fantasy novel.
Actually, there is a special house when it comes to gender, but
Getting a little off track yet, but
regardless,
yeah, Kyle, put the shield
there
back
it
down.
is.
So Gwydion was the guy who. It's funny. I was reading One Piece not that long ago, so this was very similar to King Hyrule in the story.
Right.
He was a guy who was just this asshole with a group of bullies that just went around and got in fights with everybody just because he could. He just took what he could because he could, got in fights because he could win the fights, and just was a guy who only ever cared about himself and only ever loved himself. So while those who were eternal were often fighting a war, one of his cousins just offhand bets with Gwydion, go over to that man's house, that man's castle, and raid it. And Gwydion said, I bet, and then just did it. He went and just did that. And after going in and successfully raiding that house, as it turns out, it was owned by one Mathenwin. That's the guy's actual name.
Mathenwin?
Yes. These are very Welsh people, by the way.
Well,
I
wouldn't it
hate
be
it.
pronounced Matzenwin
It's spelled math.
or Matzenwy?
It's spelled math.
I hate
I'm
it.
just going to call it Math for the sake of the story.
Yeah.
Math comes home, finds out his house has been raided, finds Gwydion and says, what the fuck do you think you were doing? He goes over, binds him, drags him over and says, what were you doing? Why'd you just invade my house? And Gwydion says, oh, I was just taking a bet. You were just taking a bet? Okay, well, how about this kind of bet? I'm going to send one of my soldiers to go fight you. If you lose, you're my slave for 3 years. If you win, you can take my head. Deal? Deal. Okay. He gets his actual prepubescent daughter, Curtawin, to fight him. A little girl. Incredible.
Now, that doesn't mean shit to fairies, to make that very clear.
Because, after all, you can become a childling in this game. You can become the wildlings. You can still be a very powerful child that has the power to kill Marcus Fattel.
This is actually a thing you could do. Sorry to derail it. I, at character creation, can give myself 1 dot in strength. I also character creation can give myself, over the course of a single day, 20 dots in strength.
Exactly that.
Fucking
Yeah.
appearance means nothing.
And in this fight, Gwydion gets his ass beat by an actual little girl, and then gets the chains put on him. The curse is as follows. he will spend 1 year as a stag, 1 year as a boar, and 1 year as a wolf, where he is hunted constantly by other men, and after fighting for his life for 3 years, Math finally comes over to him and says, "Have you learned your lesson?" And he says, "Yeah, you finally put into perspective what I've been doing this entire time. I've just been a guy hunting and killing for my own pleasure, and not because I really needed to. Do you understand why you lost the fight?" "Yes, because I was fighting for myself, not for other people." Math says, "You learned your lesson." He goes ahead, frees him, and says, "You are free to go, but if I ever doubt that you were telling me the truth in this situation, the curse is back on." Gwydion then leaves and becomes a changed man. He is now known as Gwydion the Grey from this point forward. And he goes on, he's a changed man, he's a guy who fights for others, not himself, and he decides, in order to establish a group of stand-up people that will do exactly what he learned he was supposed to do, he says, "I'm going to hold a small tournament where you come over, you challenge me to a fight, and if you win against me, I will teach you all the secret powers that I know." A bunch of people come over, do the challenge, nobody ever wins, but he manages to recruit, I believe the number is 300 people to his side. It's very much like the Band of the Hawk, where he just has a group of knight errants that just follow him around. And the last person to ever challenge him was a grown-up Curtawin, who is now a teenage girl, who they get into a fight. Gwydion almost loses, but then remembers what Matt said. "She won that fight against you because she was fighting for me, not for you." Gwydion turns it around, defeats Curtawin, and then a few years later, Curtawin becomes his wife. Where I don't think that part of the story really aged all that well in a modern perspective, but it happened.
Yeah. Also, fairy nonsense. I'm 100 years old. He's 300 years old. Age doesn't matter.
It is the fucking the advanced kind of brain of the
Yeah, but I
Changeling.
do want to comment about one thing about the image. Oh, you were looking at the image of the symbol of this House Gwydion, right?
Yes,
Yes.
He's holding a stag and a beetle in his hands.
yes, it's symbolic.
Yep. Anyway, continue.
That's part of it. We are going to be
Oh my.
those who find the bugs, prey on the weak, and we are going to be the ones that eat them. Is the metaphor.
Yep.
And Gwydion goes around with his house, with his group of knights, and Alunid says, "We are forming something called the Seelie Court. Gwydion, we want you to be king in it." And Gwydion says, "Oh, I don't know. Would I be a good king?" Yeah, you would be a great king, Gwydion. Do it. And Gwydion doesn't do this for the power. He says if he was his old self, he would do this just for power. He would have answered yes immediately. But now he has acknowledged that he who is the lord of a land or a king needs to be responsible and take care of the land and accept the responsibility that you're a leader that has the lives of other people in your hands. He says, "I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do." He becomes the king, and now we have an official House Gwydion. Yay!
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent work.
And of course, the shuddering would happen. Gwydion was the guy that stayed behind and made sure that every single one of his men got through their gates to Arcadia before the Ocean of Banality came and drowned everybody. There were 3 people that stayed behind. One was a a duchess that strongly believed in Gwydion's will and refused to leave her people without. She wanted to go down with the ship, essentially. Another one was the masterless knight who fell in love with a human and refused to leave her. And the last was Gwydion himself, where Gwydion spent the last years of his life as a wandering swordsman, kind of like the medieval Miyamoto Musashi, and he died, and we don't really know where his soul has been ever since. He's somewhere. We'll love to find Gwydion again, but very much like Clyde Tallman Werewolf, he has yet to appear. And then the resurgence happens. And of course, what?
The soul never reincarnated?
Oh, well, it probably has, but we just don't know where it is.
Huh.
And
Okay.
And over the course of 600 years, no changeling ever stepped up and said, "I am Gwydion reborn." He never did that. So it's possible that he is here, but he's just living incognito instead. That's possible.
That is.
But the Occurrence War happens, and of course, the houses say, "We got to the knife of our knives." House Gwydion is really not on board with the idea, but they say, you know what? If the Uncity Court is about to take over everything, I see the logic here. We'll do it just because we have to, but we'll try to be quick with this war. We're going to go in, deal our damage, do a very fast lightning war. We're going to take out only the leaders. We will leave the soldiers alone and spare anyone that we can over the course of this war. We want to end the war quickly to avoid as many casualties as possible. That makes sense to you, right, Kyle?
Yep, basically.
Yeah. And of course, the war happens, and one member of House Gwydion, one David Ardry, decides that he's really going to put into this war before it gets worse, because he realizes there's a logical conclusion here. The Uncity Court and the commoners don't want to let this power go. So what's going to happen if we kill all the commoners? Essentially, the same thing that happened to the commoners is going to happen to us. We, through our own desperation, because we need the commoners, we can't live in the world without them, we are going to go down a dark road where we will become Unseelie ourselves, and we will become somebody we don't recognize. This house did something good too. They discovered that the Shadow Court was at play with this entire war. There was a man above the man that was puppeteering everything, and it was called the Shadow Court. So what High King David does is that he finds the broken remains of Excalibur, reforges it, goes into New York where the final battle of the Accordance War was being held, slams Excalibur into the ground, and says, "Shut up, I have Excalibur, I have the nuclear deterrent sword, and I will turn on anyone who wants to keep this war going," and the war ended that day.
Yes. Now, to clarify a little bit here, because we haven't, we've been talking about a lot of history when it comes to House Gwydion, but
Yes.
the House Gwydion is how to put it here, the noble house of noble houses. It is the house of kings and
Yeah,
queens.
it's valor and virtue first and foremost. Kyle, the leaders of House Gwydion don't really like being called king and queen. They know that they have to wear the title, but the title will not define them. Their
Mhm.
actions will define them. This
As
is
they
one of
must.
those, yes, Kyle, one of the few no strings attached, universally good groups in World of Darkness.
Damn it, I
There are
thought
no,
they didn't exist.
yeah, there are no evil people in House Gwydion. By the House's nature, yes.
Well, I'm impressed.
And of course, their whole thing is honor and virtue. These are the kings that will go into battle with you. Let not my soldiers die without their leader. I will go into armor, and I will have my sword and shield in hand, and I will fight, and I will die with you on the battlefield.
Yes.
That's the plan with these guys.
And good on them.
And
Not a lot of that.
so, what we were saying before about your very romanticized idea of nobility, that is House Gwydion. That is them. Your Arthurian legend is the House Gwydion.
So you've got the wisdom of House Elenid, and you've got the valiance of House Gwydion.
Yes. And these two essentially carry the entire city court, by this point, where it's the leadership and the morals of the Gwydion, and then the foresight of House Elenid. And thanks to these two, you essentially have a functioning city court. Very much how I said before that Elenid is very much a reverse version of House Alil. House Gwydion is a reverse of House Baelor. If that makes sense to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything that House Baelor stands for, Gwydion is opposed to. And does House Gwydion like this Uncity Court? No.
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 But then again,
These guys.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, you say it. You say it.
I was gonna say, like, without House Belor, they'd be out of a job. But then again, they probably wouldn't mind that.
House Gwydion isn't the kind of hero that really enjoys killing the bad guy. They don't like killing bad people. They only do it because they know that if we leave you alone, you're just going to hurt more people. We have to do something about it.
And
It's all
correct
about
they are.
it's all about being the bigger man and doing what you know has to be done. First and foremost. Which, you know what? Pretty sad people all said and done. And they have a few camps amongst them too. Camps, Kyle, you remember your camping sections?
Oh yeah, there
Yeah.
were camps, weren't they?
Oh, well, with Gwydion specifically.
Oh wait, hold on. Did we go over their boons and flaws?
We're about to.
Ah, okay.
But the thing, we have three camps with House Gwydion. The first one is called the Iron Paladins. The Iron Paladins are a Black Ops group of knights. We know what the Black Ops are in America, but we don't know what they're thinking. That kind of secret group. Because the Iron Paladins, their name is known. People know that Iron Paladins exist. It's public knowledge amongst the Changelings. But you don't know where they're going to strike and what weapons they're going to use. Essentially a group of Navy SEALs, but instead of using ballistic vests and guns, they're using suits of armor and swords.
Yeah.
And next up is the Red Branch, which is a group of knights that are specifically here to be the bodyguards of nobles, she and those who aren't she. And then lastly is the Beltane Blade, which is a group of knights that is dedicated to the preservation of knowledge amongst the Changelings. Now that's a little weird, isn't it? Why would that be important, Kyle?
Because knowledge is power, obviously.
And would it be worth surviving a war if you lost your culture in the process?
Certainly not.
No.
Because you want that quote from Undertale, Kyle. After everything, it's still you.
Mm-hmm.
Because after all, it's that quote. It's that quote from the Bible passage from Matthew. Is it worth it to rule the world but lose your own soul in the process?
Well, no, because then you won't be a very good leader.
No, that's exactly it. They preserve information because a ruler needs wisdom and knowledge of history and arts if they're going to be a prosperous and virtuous ruler.
True
Greed,
information, accurate information.
I think Grid has an idea.
I was about to say accurate and true information.
Now for the boon and the flaw. The boon is with a successful perception and keening roll, you will always know if somebody is lying. Difficulty equals to a permanent willpower score. And you just need one fucking success and you know this.
Yeah, that is
Good
that is a very devastating power. There is no bullshitting them.
Cue your House Squidian She player using this roll fucking constantly after every NPC finishes one sentence.
I would.
Yeah. Now, to clarify, House Iliad is surprisingly immune to this.
Yeah. I'll allude it cannot be affected by this. Nobody knows why except for that house itself, but for some reason they just can't tell when they're lying. But then again, when was the last time that house needed to lie? When was the last time they needed to do that? We're banned from using this on this house because the house would never do this to begin with. And your flaw, Kyle, is you have a frenzy mechanic. If you ever reach wounded and damage, you need to make a willpower roll difficulty 5 with at least one success, or you will go into a frenzy that will continue until you're incapacitated.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Nothing stops it, period.
No, wait. These things are dark. No, these guys are blood angels.
Yes. You'll go into a rage where you will just keep chopping up stuff with your sword until somebody defeats you in combat.
No, legitimately, think about it here. They're beauty, grace, nobility, and to try to be the better person. Blood angels. But as soon as they start taking too much damage or just a random thing happens, they just go into unending rage.
It's Kyle's favorite group of Space Marines. Exactly that.
Skulls for the Skull Throne.
That's the wrong one.
Close enough.
And all of it too with this frenzy, you ignore all wound penalties. Amazing.
That's a little busted.
Yeah, exactly that. So once one of these guys goes into frenzy, that's a boss fight.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and typically they have very good fighting. So, oof.
Let's see. And next up,
If
they talk about the
heal
red
them, does that take them out of their rage?
No.
Then what the fuck's the
You
point?
have to drop their health to 0 to stop it.
No, legitimately here, I'm not looking at the screen at the moment, but it says it here. There's nothing way to get them out of their rage, magically or otherwise.
Yeah, unless you defeat them. And then look at this. So remember that whole section I was saying about the Ashit? I forgot that House Squidian has no real opinion on the Ashit. So
yeah,
great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the end. They do bring up a few rules in here, like the right to dream, where this is something that I believe in strongly. You remember we just did the Anasa episode too, where Queen Anasa is talking about how humanity will become stagnant and will fall apart if we can't imagine. House Squidian is a firm believer in this. If you have an idea, even if the idea is fucking stupid, House Squidian will encourage you to share it because through the sharing of information is how we will learn and evolve as people.
They are
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, we have the dumb Kai who always says the dumbest situations. But what if we made their feet smellier? And they'd be like, "All right, Kyle, that was your opinion. Now let's move on."
They halfway take the right of ignorance seriously because these guys are kings and everybody will acknowledge that they're kings, but they don't want to hold the Lord's title over their head. They will enter a room, introduce themselves by their title, and then they won't hold that over your head. They'll just say, "You can call me by my first name if you really want to." That kind of thing.
Makes
That
sense.
kind of relationship. Don't call me my liege. Don't call me my lordship. Just call me by my name. That kind of ruler. And next up, the right to rescue. Oh, absolutely, these guys are had the right to rescue. This is invoked constantly. If you are about to die from banality, a member of House Gridin is coming to your location as we speak to save you. Just sit tight, try not to die of boredom, and you'll be rescued. Please do not resist.
Congratulations, you're being rescued. Please do not resist.
You're changing in the middle of a classroom, a very boring classroom. You feel like you're about to die. Next minute, you just hear a trumpet on intercom saying, "George Smith, your mother is here." Wait, what?
And lastly, they have a big strong opinion on is the right to life, where given the lesson that Gwydion learned from talking to Math, yes, everybody deserves a second chance because Gwydion it really is a self-made man. This was a criminal who managed to redeem himself and become a king. Anybody can turn their life around, according to House Gwydion. Where
I'd go from rags to riches.
Where Kyle, we know that not everybody takes the opportunity, but anybody has the potential to turn their life around.
Yep.
No, it depends on what kind of mess you make, though, because some lives are harder to fix than others.
Oh, absolutely. But everybody gets a
Kyle,
chance.
if you have no cash, no debit card, you maxed out your credit cards, you have a credit score of 300, and you're homeless. It's a little bit hard to turn your life around, but you can still do it.
Yeah. It takes time to get there, but life always gets better.
And that is it for House Gwydion. What do we think of these guys?
I like
Very
it.
awe-inspiring.
Very, very, very cool group of gentlemen, huh?
Yes. I like them
Wait,
quite a bit.
hold on. Have you ever? I don't know if you've ever seen this one here, but it was a video on YouTube where the guy unleashes a genie and he says, "I'm the king of this land, and my job is to serve my people. What do you need, genie?"
What you need? What you
Yeah.
need?
Honestly, that's kind of nice. It reminds me like the end of Aladdin, where instead of wishing to be a king, he just wishes for Genie to be free.
Well, that's how our Rituals Egypt campaign ended.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A
I
genie.
mean, have you seen the video, Kyle?
I have not. No.
To summarize it, a lamp appears in front of a king. The genie says, like, "What is your wishes?" Be like, "I am a king. I serve my people. I don't demand anything. Do you have any wishes?" Like, "No, I'm a genie." "Oh, okay. Then I wish you are free, and I wish that you have all these wishes for yourself."
Bold.
Oh,
That's all
nice.
you need.
Yeah. Now,
Before we go into the Appuccino of House Liam, we got House Dougal next.
wait, hold on. Before we go to that last house, I
You got an idea?
do want
Yes,
to
I do.
say, the she, because this is also the she episode. I thought I must go
Yeah.
over how they are acting the dreaming.
You want to bring up the
All right, to
man right
summarize, wait,
now.
do I
Okay, we
sound
have a
better?
small intermission with the houses. We're going to bring up the man.
Right, May.
All right. Tell us about the man.
Right, to summarize it here, like I said before in the other she and the fairy episodes, the fairies get more fairy-like the more they go into the dreaming, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the she's main ability, well, actually, I'll give a little bit more exaggeration because it's the she. The more the she get into the dreaming, the more beautiful they get, to the point. Have you know presence, the vampire discipline, right?
Yes.
They
Yes.
basically have permanent presence that just affects you. There's nothing you can do about it.
It gets to the level where your penis just shoots off your body.
Yeah, basically, and to summarize it here, their eyes are like more powerful, more brilliant than lightning bolts. You for even 1,000 miles away could tell that thing is beyond human. They're beautiful. They're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
The mere sight of them just makes you want to just mew at them. Now, their three of powers is all in beauty. Their appearance gets another +2, meaning they get a +4 to their appearance score.
Mm-hmm.
all social roles involving intimidation are reduced by 4.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to attempt to attack one, you must roll willpower difficulty 8. That can increase depending on their rank, but they
Very
just
hard to kill these bastards.
yeah, all in beauty. Very terrible, very beautiful. Also, their noble bearing one. You know how when people try to cast magic against the she and that shit fails? Oh wait, we
Yes.
never went over this.
Well,
Summarize it. If you try to cast magic on a she that would make them look like an idiot, it doesn't work on them.
it doesn't. To a point where stuff like dominate just will not affect them, period.
Yeah, if you would use dominate, that would say, hey, do something embarrassing. It just won't work.
Same with using the mind sphere on a sheet. It just doesn't work either.
Yep. Good luck.
Good luck as a Ventrue
Yeah,
player
now this
trying to
one
fight
here
one of
is
these.
yeah. Now this is the second level. We're going to the third level after like one more, 2 more houses. The second, them in the second level is when you would try to embarrass them, it immediately hits you instead.
And you make an ass out of yourself instead.
It's the
Yeah,
Puka's
now-
worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Them
Yeah.
being in the dreaming, there is no banality naturally in the dreaming it whatsoever, right? Their
Yes.
curse instead turns into empathy blindness. You get a +2 difficulty on empathizing with anyone that is a commoner.
It's that friend that insists that we always play games that I want to play and then we never get a game that you want to.
Basically, how to summarize here is not the fact that it's the she or so up in their
In their
Far up their own
avatar.
asses.
yeah, their heads are so high that it's hard to see the dirt.
It's the flyover states, Kyle. We have no reason to ever go to Kansas.
Like, for example, here you can go as she. You can bust out crying in front of a she, and the she will look at you crying, and they'll be like, "Why is that peasant crying? Leave! You're being annoying."
Mm-hmm.
It's like that episode of Speed Racer where it's like, you can't be crying now. We have work to do.
Like, legitimately, not trying to throw any shade on anyone here, but let's be real here. That really autistic friend who has no social cues, you basically have that for anyone that's lesser than you.
It's after that.
The sniveling imperialist feat.
Basically. But their banality flaw turns into this. Anyway, I'm done. Keep pushing.
All right, go along with this. House Dougal, put that shield up on screen, that yellow shield.
Harsh to goal.
Go.
Kyle, these guys are the Imperial Fist. If the she as a whole are the Eldari, then this is just the Imperial Fist, the house. You build. We're going to build this house. We're going to build this castle. We're going to forge a sword. We're going to make the armor. We're going to make the horseshoe. We're going to make the road. We're going to make the bridge. You build shit forever with this house. You're the architect, and your plans are so complicated that you cannot trust them to the knockers or the boggins. You must be the one to make the masterpiece happen.
Yes. We
Take
can build better than everyone.
Take the Toreador, and instead of it being paintings, it's homes the Toreador wants to build. That's the
Be the
concept
most
here.
whimsical homes ever created.
And the character who's the main character of this story is Dougal. We're going to go ahead, put his picture up on screen. There he is. You might be wondering, why is his arm on fire? We're getting to that.
I don't know, but he looks
So what
awesome.
happens-
He looks like Sam
so what
Hyde,
happens with
doesn't
this-
he?
He does a little bit, doesn't
He does.
he? He's going to lock you in a house and make you compete for $20,000.
Ah, Jesus.
The thing is with Dougal is he was a smith that worked for the newly formed House Gwydion, and his boss's name was Fergus. Who was Fergus? Well, I really hope the book has no information on him. That'd be great.
Why
And
would
we
you
have
need
no idea
info
who the
on a
fuck Fergus
character?
is.
What? Come on.
And Dougal was the guy who just built stuff for Fergus in particular. He built this hall that was going to be used as a meeting room for Gwydion.
Oh shit! I
And-
didn't realize I have not changed my name.
I got you on that one. There was going to be a meeting room between Gwydion and some of his other guys. I think their names were Macon, and that doesn't really matter who the fuck the other person is. But either way, Dougal comes in and listens to his meeting, and they're having a conversation that the humans are going to kill us. The humans are going to kill us all. We got to be able to kill the humans before they kill us. And Dougal's response is, no, that's bullshit, because it's not people that kill people, it's guns that kill people. Wow, Dougal, I didn't know you were that big into gun control. And then Dougal's...
Did that happen?
Well, it wasn't guns, it was cold iron that he was talking about. That
Well,
we need to
that's
go
fair.
ahead, we need to just go ahead and outlaw cold iron. We need to keep it out of the hands of everybody, and that's going to be the best way we can handle this. No, he doesn't say that. You would think that would be the argument, but it's not that. Instead, he says we need to give everybody cold iron.
Huh?
That's the plan. Everybody needs to have this. I have a plan to give everybody a weapon that uses cold iron. And then he was probably told to shut the fuck up by, I'm not even kidding you, one of the she women pulled out her pussy and got him to shut up in mid-sentence.
You're joking.
She made her clothes see-through and then spread her legs.
That's
Nah,
a rather
nah.
effective conversation period right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, hold on. Wait. I must stop you right there. You had to be joking.
I'm not shitting you with that.
Oh God, this reminds me so much of Cool Cullen. For those that don't know, Cool Cullen had something called a flesh spiral where his body inverts on itself and he turns into a giant monster. How he calmed down was flashing him titties.
Yeah, that's how he calmed down. So he got Dougal to shut up after his gun control rant by showing the man a pussy. And then on his way home, because he gets sick, because nobody's actually sick of the conversation, nobody's listening to a thing he says, he gets jumped by a guy with a cold iron knife, who proceeds to stab him through the palm of his left hand, going out the back of his hand. Dougal fights the guy off, but as he pulls the blade out of his hand, the flesh, the skin on his left arm, from palm to shoulder, is pulled off with the knife, leaving his arm a burning mass of muscle and bone. That's why he looks like that in that picture.
Jesus.
And then Dougal says, well, I'm about to die. I can feel the banality coursing through my veins. I'm about to die any minute. I gotta get my plan done. He goes back to his home after an hour walk, and he meets with his 3 smiths. Their names are, if I'm pulling this up for you right, Donovan. Let's see, come on with this wiki site. I was using the wiki for this because
it
it's
was
more
wasn't it just Lord Donovan or something like that?
It's 3 people. It's I'm trying to pull up these names for you. I was using the Wet Wolf wiki because it's for whatever reason it's got old information for the book inside of it, and I'm more compromised. Wait,
Donovan, and Moran.
You need to get hyperlinked to another book to get all the information about all these freaking houses. Is the awesome thing.
Was it correct though?
Oh, it is correct. Yes. Donovan, Aoife, and Moran were their names. Donovan and Aoife were both she. Moran was a knocker. And Dougal comes home and says, all right, get ready, guys. We're going to pull an all-nighter. I need you to get me coke and arsenic. I need you to get me my super hammer. I need you to get the fire hot. We got work to do. He goes ahead. He puts the glove on his right hand. He just wraps bandages around his burning left hand. And then he goes and he gets his hammer. And it's this massive damn hammer called the Aiken. Is this essentially the Mjolnir made for forging.
Yep.
And he stays up all night forging a sword. Everybody's interested in what he's doing. The man is taking cold iron, grasping it in his hand, letting the poison flow through him even quicker. He dips it in 3 things. He dips it in coke, he dips it in arsenic, and then he pours his own blood over it too. And then he forges so hard that a small hurricane begins to form over his forge. And he finishes it.
Really?
He says it's almost done. He then takes it, shoves his burning hot sword into a bucket of water that proceeds to completely explode in water vapor. And then when the explosion of vapor clears, Dougal is gone. He's just gone.
Nice.
And then Fergus, who came over to find out what the storm is all about, reaches over, grabs the sword, identifies that it's cold iron, but it's different. As it turns out, Dougal invented steel. And the last ingredient that he used to create steel cowl was his own soul. Amazing.
Wait, fairies invented steel? That's gonna
Yes.
piss the technocracy off so much.
There you go. Well, yeah, there it is. Fairies invented steel. Behold. Kyle, how useful is this invention?
It literally built modern society as we know it.
Absolutely. And then this weapon was then mass distributed amongst all fairies. That every commoner and she was to have a silver weapon with them at all times. For it is a weapon that sure it can kill you, but if you use it right, it will kill any chimera and any thalane in potentially one hit. So these were mass produced and shared with everybody. But Kyle, what happens when you just make guns forever and there's no real control as to how they're distributed? This ultimately court and the Thalane will also get their hands on them.
Yes. But then again, so does the Seelie. So, you know.
There's Afa, Donovan, and Moran in that picture, by the way. From left to right, it's Afa, Donovan has black hair, and then Moran is the guy with the ponytail. And while this is going on, the High Kings are saying, we need more steel. We need more steel. Keep making more orders, more orders, more orders. And they're just making all these different steel weapons, steel suits of armor, steel tools. And then, of course, it doesn't stop the shattering from fucking happening. And then the shattering happens.
Yep.
And then Moran stays behind. He figures out how to become a changeling on his own. He tells Donovan and Afa, you go into Arcadia, you take as many of these men with you as possible. And then Donovan says, thank you for that suggestion, but no, let's plan this shit out. They actually form an exodus strategy where they form caravans and convoys to get every single one of their subjects away from the sea of banality that's coming their way, and they successfully save all their men. Now, granted, there are a few that fell through the cracks, but 9 out of 10 members of House Dougal were saved.
And good on them.
High number?
Yeah, big dub, right? And then the Sundering goes into shattering. Moran stays behind. Moran is a knocker who proceeds to reincarnate in multiple people's bodies throughout history. Moran jumps from person to person to person whenever Moran's human host dies. And Moran stays the leader of this house for the entire time. Except for instances where Moran's soul goes into a body, that person does not go through chrysalis, and then someone else needs to take over for the time being until Moran can find a body that actually can go through a chrysalis. One of those people that took over was a backstabbing conniver named, I think his name was Canard, Cranad was his name. Cranad was his name. And he was a knocker who said, while this guy's away, I am going to go and create a clone. He works in simulacrums. The man builds actual automatons that are clones of people down to their exact measurements and voices. He gives them life, and now we have a group of cyborg imposters that are killing off members of House Dougal and replacing them with a robot duplicate that Crenid controls.
So he's basically the plot of the Santa Claus 2.
Yes. That's the plot. That's the plot.
I ain't lying. Glad I could point that out.
And of course, when the resurgence happens, Donovan comes back, immediately sees the fake Moran and goes, "You're not Moran." And then there's a big fight that happens. Crenid flees. Moran flees. The fake one flees. The real Moran comes back. And now we get to live happily ever after with the return of the king. And did these guys participate in the Accordance War at all? No. They did make the weapons, though. But besides that, not a single soldier actually participated in the war.
Nope.
Can't fight the war I'm fixing.
And so there we go. And the house would never achieve gun control. Incredible.
Yep.
And that's the end of the story.
Good job.
It is. So there it is. Did Kyle, you want to enforce gun control?
No, not at all.
After
Matter of
hearing that
fact,
story, you
they
don't
were
want to do it?
protesting in North VA. They were handing out free magazines to people.
The boon and the flaw of House Dougal. All members of House Dougal, it says once per story. I think that's fucking stupid. Make it once per session. Can convert all of their temporary glamour into willpower.
That's pretty fucking
Yeah, no, that
great.
should be a once per session thing.
Yeah, that's a once per session thing. where if you burn through all of your willpower and your rerolls, fear not. For you can take all of your glamour and just turn it into willpower. Easy. And your flaw is hard work. You feel like you need to work hard, but your body cannot work hard with you. The same way that Dougal forged his sword with a crippled hand, every single member of House Dougal, the minute you swear an oath to this clan, one part of your body will just immediately fail. Either your eyes, or a limb, or one of your senses, or your back. You will gain a minor physical disability. And that's your flaw.
After Dougal himself.
Will it be called a leg or an
arm? I'll go with a leg because I'm sure I can figure out I don't dance as often as I used to, and I need my arms for playing guitar.
Yeah, Greed, what do you think?
You can take one of my ears.
An ear?
Okay, Van
one
Gogh.
of those ears. We'll get a pull off of Lavander Holyfield. And
look, if I want to do like one-armed swordsman type of shtick, I would have one arm.
Well, I mean, he was choosing an arm or a leg.
Be biking from Guilty Gear. And
sounds like a fucking Peter Griffin hypothetical. Okay, guys, would you rather be blind or a midget?
I'd say I want to be a midget, Peter. That was no character voice. Okay, with House Dougal, when it comes to culture, you build stuff. You're an architect. You're an architect, visionary king. You have great plans for all these different castles, for all this land that you want to do, for all these different projects you want to do. You will be the guy who will baptize and delegate your tasks to everybody else around you. We're finally getting to what it would be a more traditional kind of king, but this doesn't really sound like a king. Now I think about it, this sounds more like a CEO or a foreman when it comes to rulership.
Sounds about right.
I'm really thinking of House Dougal. The more I think of them, I think of Rogel Dorn from 40K. It's been 500 years, Dorn. Please just say who the blood is for.
No.
Wait, hold on. I feel like that's from something. No.
It's SpongeBob.
Can I have something to eat?
No.
No. It's
what
to live in North Korea.
I hated this fact that's from SpongeBob.
It is indeed from SpongeBob.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
I had not up on SpongeBob shit.
Now, when it comes to the sheet, the Right of Dements, of course, support this as a common sense. It makes sense that you're my boss, you tell me what to do, because that's how society's going to function. If you start telling our boss to go fuck himself, then nothing's ever going to get done, now is it?
No.
Depends on the boss.
Some leaders are better than others, but...
Yeah, like, you generally is good to listen to those in charge.
Because usually they have a plan or some sort of knowledge that you don't have. Yep.
Yes.
With the right to dream, we would not have a House Dougal if there was no right to dream. Because Dougal invented steel. And you saw how much steel has affected the world around us today.
Yes.
We still use steel cables, steal everything.
We're going to steal your money. We're going to steal your sword. We're going to steal your armor.
Steal all your stuff.
And who knows, you might be the next guy to have the next big idea that will change the world the same way that Dougal did. So go ahead and dream. It's your right to do it. What's next? The right of ignorance. Once again, these are guys that don't really go around and call themselves kings, now do they? These are more architects and foremen more than anything else.
Basically.
They'll let you know that they're in charge, but they don't lord this over you the same way that the Seelie court, the unseelie court would do. Next up. The right to rescue. Well, what was the whole steel project about to begin with if it wasn't a rescue?
Well,
makes sense, don't it?
You know, they could have done it for fun, but who knows?
The right to safe haven. Well, these guys built the fucking safe haven. What do you think?
Yes, they did.
And lastly, the right to life. Where, same thing I said before, you might be the next guy to think of the next big idea. Of course, you have the right to life. And after all, Dougal didn't pick up a sword during the Corinthians War.
He made the swords, but that's about it.
They made the gun. If you built the gun and then somebody shot somebody with that gun, did you kill that person?
No, because I
Technically.
intended for it to kill the other people.
Well, there we go. Judoka was completely innocent in the entire recordings war.
Yep, he's just doing his job.
Sure, let's go with that.
Well, it's
And
also like if they didn't, they would have gotten somebody else to do it who would have been far less conscientious.
Now, I might be thinking with these guys. There's a small relationship portion that we've been going over because we're going to be here all fucking night if we go over every single relationship portion.
Yes.
Now, I might be thinking, what do House Dougal think of wizards?
What do they think of wizards?
There's actually a little bit of respect for wizards. They're turning
Really?
dreams into reality the same way that they did.
Well,
Though-
that and they seem to be big fans of three people in particular: the Etherites, particularly House Marinita of the Hermetics, and the Virtual Adepts.
Yes. Along with that, the Dream Speakers and the Verbena, more power to you. You do what you do with your sticks and your swords and your tents. And whatever the fuck else you're doing in the woods. So go on and be the best people you can. Just
That's your job.
try not to kill us and use our blood for magic rituals. And there we go.
Yep.
Kyle, do you want to do House Liam?
Yes. So, House Liam. I'm probably not going to be as in depth as Johnny. So, basically, for when House Liam, as some would say, they are probably one of the quietest of the House founders. Lord Liam was initially exiled to Earth for his eloquence, for his defense of mortals centuries ago, as initially the Kith didn't hold humanity in quite high regard due to their rapid spreading of banality throughout the world, and some argue that revenge against them would remove that curse from the world. So Liam stood alone arguing in their defense for the longest of time until he was eventually banished from Arcadia. And most members of the House, don't see humans as perfect, but they do believe that humanity has well earned their right to exist despite ravaging and banality. Humans are much more than what they seem, at least to House Liam. So from the top, you have Liam himself, who was the she founder of House Liam. See, initially he was in France, and he really liked
Why is his name
France.
Liam if he's in France?
I don't know.
That is the most stereotypically Irish name ever made.
Yeah, I know, but he just happened to be in France.
You see, so Monsieur
I'll tell you what, I
Liam
was
in
getting
the
tired of
house.
being colonized by the English, so I decided I'll go to France. They wasn't colonizing us, so I'll go to France. And so to France I went.
We should be neighbors. They hate the English too.
Well,
They really do.
The French did ally with the Scots in particular. I actually should change a thing to actually have the shield of the friggin'...
Oh, not sitting your shield. Oh, fuck. My mistake.
It's okay. I got ahead of myself.
I forgot. House Liam, there it is.
And it's a tree, as we can see.
Yeah. And all silver.
Yes. And so, Liam had found that, especially in France, that a lot of the French people were getting really into this neat new thing called Christianity. It was a newfound faith and New Age belief, but also found that there was something corrupt beneath the surface that he was looking through. And so he would continue to go to church and see what it was all about. And let's see here. This thing is kind of out of order, in all honesty.
He looked at it at the church and he thought, "This is Kino. Let's take a look at that. They're doing plays where everybody stands in a pose to recreate a scene from the Bible. They have all these different stained glass windows. They have all these paintings. He sees Michelangelo's Pieta, and he thinks to himself, "This isn't a source of banality. There's some imagination here."
Yep. He knew the dangers of it all, but he saw that all the artisans of the church were impassioned in their service to God, and it was unlike anything else that he'd ever seen in the secular world. He judged the risks, and he thought, you know what? It has some banality to it, but it's really a source of beauty that I can't find anywhere else. But he found that because it was a source of banality to an extent, due to the organization of the church, he kept it in private. In most councils, he would, try to just. Many of the other councils were trying to discuss ways to manage all the religious fervor of the mortals in order to protect their own power and resist banality. Uh, Meanwhile, they believe that the belief in angels and demons fire the imaginations of people. But the problem
Oh, it
is that
does.
humans began to cast fairies into the role of demons. And the animosity brought by this belief began to threaten the dreaming. For every artist that, some had said that, for every artist that the church had created, there were 10 monks, priests, and mullahs and friars who preached the destiny of a fixed place in the world with little creativity that was utterly terrifying to the rest of the Fae. Though
Because after all, how
Yep.
much information did the church have a stranglehold over during this time?
they were the only ones who
So
could read.
Yes.
So, of course, they were the ones, restoring all the ancient texts from Greek and Roman literature that they'd recovered and, translating passages from Moorish tales that they were able to get through their traders and copy down on folk stories. And because they were the ones doing so, they were the ones controlling the narrative. And so King Liam, for the longest time, held his tongue about it. But he spent much of his time with people who had given themselves to a single god, and he believed that the creative elements of the church could be nurtured while stemming away its authoritarian tendencies. But this was a very long-term thing, and Liam began to crave it in the short term. And so we enter a character by the name of Sister Melisande.
Yes.
And so there was an abbey in France, not far from the forest where the fairies had overlapped the realm of the mortals, near one of the freeholds, and it was home to a small handful of women. Liam came to this abbey, and he was intrigued by the rumors there, and he heard that there was a young nun who had an absolutely beautiful voice that nobody had ever heard of before. So he rode over from the forest to the edge of the fields of the nunnery, and he heard her voice singing this hymn, singing this praise of God, and he was so enraptured that he would continue to come back time and time again, and at one point sat there for 3 straight hours listening to her sing. And when she finally left for her chores, he returned to his senses, went back to his lands, and just absolutely amazed by the beauty in her voice. And when, the distraction began to be noted by the rest of the court, people were starting, rumors about him slowly being turned to banality. And, Liam eventually, time and time again, Liam would go and listen to her sing. And that would sort of, reinvigorate his idea that this was the good that could be brought to in church was, this sort of beauty, their hymns, their artwork, and he continued to stand by that notion despite the protests of the rest of the Seelie court. And
What kind of bothers me about this story is the same, like, even as a kid with Sleeping Beauty, it bothered me. Why is Prince Philip just watching Aurora sing in the woods and not, I don't know, saying something to her?
Oh, because he, is meek and shy, I guess. I don't know.
You're standing in the bushes getting blue-balled. Say something to her.
Well, to be fair here, this scenario is slightly different. He is a fairy and she is actually a nun. There is a little bit of a difference.
Same thing, too. You're going after a nun. Like, marrying a nun is one thing. Being married to a nun is worse.
Yes, but no, I wish to add something here. And also, he was sort of correct. Some of the world's most beautiful and breathtaking art, a good percentage is some of the world's most noticeable breathtaking art
It's from the church, yes.
is arts of supper.
Yeah.
So that's the shit you got. Kyle, continue.
Yes. And so, even though there was all these rumors, through the time he would go venture out alone to listen to Melisande sing, it honestly spurred him on to be a better leader. And, time was good for House Liam while he was inspired by this woman's beautiful song. And Liam continued to slowly advance the question of the benefits of fostering creativity in the church. there was one noble of House Squiden, Duke Halson, that took an interest in the matter. He was a prominent conservative voice amongst the Fae with a strong dislike for this newfound religion. And Duke had begun to investigate the matter about why, Liam had continued to press on this issue of creativity in a banal church, to the point in which he, tried to trap King Liam, pardon me, at the abbey where Melisande sang. Halson was present and wanted to testify on what was seen, as well as some of his best warriors. Posing as churchmen from Rome, the Duke and his men took Melisande from the place, and leaving her sigil so that King Liam know who had taken her away. Liam was absolutely furious. The fact that his beloved voice, his muse, so to speak, had been taken away from him. Those who'd kept House Liam exiled for eternity account his actions as, he became, as, one of the root causes of the church's hatred for fairy kind. And it was, goodness gracious, I'm losing all my place in this story.
He had a crash out in front of the nuns.
He basically
and
destroyed
the nuns were driven
nunnery,
insane seeing him crash out.
Yep. The nuns lived out their lives as mad women, driven insane by the splendor of his glamour after he, wreaked havoc on the abbey at which Melisande used to dwell. And many of them, hid themselves away, but were, savaged by the magic of his fury. Liam awoke in the haze of anger, knowing that Halson had stolen Melisande from him, and finding the sigil was proof that, he had ripped from the mind of the Mother Superior. So Liam rode back to Arcadia, burst into Duke Halson's court, marked by the passage of the winter breeze, and he met Halson by himself and his retainers and by Melisande. She was at Halson's side, looking up at the Duke, but with nothing but adoration. Halson had swooned Melisande and stolen her from King Liam. And from then, yeah, he stole her.
That is a dick.
You're gonna steal your girl. I'm not even attracted to your girl. I'm gonna steal her anyway.
Basically.
Also, NTR. All right, I'm done.
And so King Liam, furious at Halson, rushed in, killed 2 of his knights, and attacked and beat the shit out of Duke Halson as well in single combat. And but
then
Duke Halson was a better warrior, and so Halson had killed King Liam at the end.
Yeah, Liam flamed out that fight very quickly.
Yes, he did. Well, not killed him, but had defeated him. And then, brought him to trial for his actions, and, he was painted as a criminal for crimes caused at the church to hunt fairy kind throughout Europe. And therein lies the story of King Liam.
And then throughout the Shuddering and the Interregnum, essentially this was just a group of people that said they were kings and queens and dukes and duchesses, but nobody took them seriously. The only people that took them seriously were their own insular group where only they obeyed each other's laws. And they thought, well, maybe by living like this, the city court will bring us in one day. Kind of, sort of, nada. They're with the city court, but the city court still treats them like shit because of just their history of who their king used to be.
Yep. Because King Liam really liked the church.
I love that too. They say that Liam did nothing wrong.
Like they do. At most,
what's up?
To blame the Duke and his shit he caused.
Basically, yep.
And you know how they let the church. Well, they decided they were going to amass themselves a banality and hide in the church. And then what they get for that? Being hunted to death by the Society of St. Leopold.
Yep. Excellent job.
By
Good
the
job.
power
Phenomenal.
of God in anime.
And after almost dying, they just went off, hid. So a lot of them just completely lost their changing souls entirely and just never reincarnated. Some of them stayed alone and just kept reincarnating for years and years as a tunnel she, slowly dwindling in power until the resurgence happened. And now finally, all these she are back. House Liam said, maybe this will be our will finally be our chance to get back in good with the city court. Very few of their members actually escaped the shattering, so they had very few people to actually have a reunion with.
Yep.
But then when the Accordance War happened, they weren't so sure of what to do with it. The Knife Our Knives happened, and they did participate in it, namely as, once again, a means to try to get back into good graces of the city court. But you can imagine they had a guilty conscience after doing that.
Oh yeah, definitely. They were like, okay, we were cast out because King Liam, was in love with the church, and kind of got us all banished, and then most of us died in the shattering. And now, well, if we fight alongside the rebels and the commoners, and we can retake our place, or we can betray the commoners who we, stayed behind with for centuries. And, they were kind of fucked whether they did or they didn't.
There's a few stories that detail about House Liam's actions during the war, but essentially House Liam was the guy on the inside for commoners. It wasn't the lifeline for enemy intel to the commoners that they really needed, but House Liam the entire war was saying, hey, when's the war ending? Hey, when's the war ending? Can we stop doing the war already? Can we stop doing this? Can we stop doing this? As time went on.
Yes.
Try to get this shit shut down.
They believed many of House Liam to be cowards, and both sides, from either the nobility that had returned from the resurgence and the commoners who wished for their insight, both didn't really have much to do with them.
To the point where they made a big show of it, where they sent a guy, Baron Malcolm, all the way over to Europe to announce to the houses that House Liam was formally withdrawing from the war entirely and would no longer participate in it.
Yep. And you can imagine how that went over.
Well, yeah, they didn't take it well at the time, but after High King David came in, it was then that they decided to finally hear these guys out, and now House Liam is part of the city court, but it's a very tenuous kind of relationship.
Yeah.
How do you act as a member of House Liam, by the way?
So, as a member of House Liam, you're overwhelmingly Seelie due to your nature of really loving humanity. Even though most Kitane consider exiled Liam members to be oathbreakers and or worse. Many she admit, though, that individuals of the house are usually good-hearted and honest. The thread that binds the group of exiles together is usually their devotion to protecting humans who they live amongst. Also, many members of the house react to the disdain in which they are held to the opposite extreme. The Grumps recommend extreme discretion in all situations, in hopes that one day they'll find a way, that sufficient good behavior can be renewed their welcome to the ranks of Githian society. Still, those who are inclined to ignore the wisdom of their elders often find themselves swearing themselves to another house or more attractive than spending their lives as outcasts from society. So usually you're going to be Seelie, usually you're going to be protecting the humans as much as you possibly can, and most other she and most other changelings are going to hate the shit out of you. So
you're a very humanist faction that tends not very work out for you very well.
Yes. And go ahead.
Imagine, Kyle, if Clan Malkavian said, we're going to be the human vampires that directly interact with human society and try to seamlessly merge with it.
To which the Toreador respond, get in your lane.
The boon and ban of House Liam. The boon of House Liam is that it is super easy to get the glamour from a mortal.
Yes.
Your difficulty around whenever it comes to harvesting is always lowered by 1. But the ban is, because of their mortal afflictions, Liam she begin with an extra point of banality at character creation.
Yep. They are also known as oath breakers. No other changeling will honor their oath bonds, hospitality, or justice, and you're frequently the target of discrimination.
This would be the she that I would encourage you to play as, because it makes sense as to why you're here and why you're working with commoners the most.
Yes. Because you're down here with the commoners, you got to be around humans.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the Ashit, the right of dements, when it comes to authority, Kyle.
Okay, so the right of demence is a traditional right that's sort of become an optional custom in the modern world. Stubborn in its attempts to show that it is pure and more noble than the other houses, it upholds this right scrupulously. Very few of the Liam rulers do not tolerate disobedience or disrespect. Some of the other rulers expect this obedience from House Liam, though it becomes a matter of pride. The wise ones who have adopted Liam scholars into their households as record keepers and librarians quickly take advantage of that. So basically, they do not tolerate any disobedience or disrespect, and most other rulers will expect that obedience and respect from House Liam. So
yes,
they try to just take them in and just like, okay, you keep the records, you keep all the books here. We're going to be over here doing the real ruler shit. And like, okay, no problem. Stick to it.
With the right to dream, okay, well, what do you think?
No right is more absolute. If mortals do not dream, then banality takes hold and then the fairies all die. They know this better than anybody.
It's as easy to figure out as that.
Yes, indeed. The right of ignorance. It's of course it's important to not reveal the existence of the Cathane to the world at large because banality is strong, and if they're to bring themselves out, then banality would just swallow them whole and destroy them. So the right of ignorance is given some strong service and a certain degree of respect.
I like that too. The right of ignorance. Are these people are going to hold worship over your head?
Probably not.
Because after all, banality is a little bit too strong of a force. If you go around telling people, I'm a fairy king, they're going to think you're a fucking idiot amongst mortals.
Yep. And then you get thrown in the nut house in about a day in the white walls, and then you go crazy and die.
The right of rescue. Should you be rescued from a boring life?
Well, yes. Because, but though it is important to weigh the risks and causes before risking somebody or Cathane to overcome by banality, members usually ask themselves why someone has been caught before moving to their rescue. It's not worth saving somebody that's in too deep because it might just kill you as well.
The right to a safe haven.
It's honored rarely by most of Fae society, but House Liam's stubbornness has led it to maintain this tradition. They will not turn away any Fae from one of their freehold controlled by them unless they have directly violated the Eshet. While hospitality may not be of highest quality, House Liam members do not deny basic obligations of food and shelter.
And lastly, how is the right to life supposed to work with these guys?
It's, killing fairies violates the Eshet and must be punished appropriately, very succinctly. If someone traces the thread's effect back to the Destiny's Web, as the book puts it, there are those who have lent their hand to betraying their heritage by preying on mortals. Considering every dreamer whose dreams have been destroyed by ravaging is a dreamer no longer, that doesn't contribute any health or glamour to the world, it affects all fairies and makes the death of the dreaming more likely. So no, don't kill anybody. Any person that you kill is a person who dreams less. So you need to maintain as many of those as possible.
And anything else we should know about House Liam before we go off into the next house?
I don't know. I kind of like what you said earlier, where it's like, if you are going to play she, more than likely you're going to play a House Liam. Because you're dealing with humans and commoners a lot more often. You
get all the power of a she, but you get the stipulations to really balance it out.
You are the peasant king, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. The whole Prince of the Pauper situation, you swapped out your crown to wear a pauper's robe.
Yes.
So this is the house I gravitate towards the most.
I quite like them. They're, they're a humbled leader. Perhaps not as virtuous as House Gwyden or as wise of House Eland, but they do have their heart in the right place.
See, has Greed succumbed to the promethazine?
He can't put down a cup.
Is he alive?
I think he can't put
Greed,
down
we
a
need to
cup.
know about the mains. But we lost him. We fucking lost him. He's narcoleptic.
He died. He done diddly died.
Well, then I guess we'll just go off to the next house then.
Actually, hang on. I saw a warning pop up. I think his connection might be fucky.
It might be.
Hear me?
Oh, there you
There
are.
we go.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear him now.
What the fuck? This is bullshit.
We thought you was asleep.
Nigga, I just went to get some pizza. I've been back for the last 5 minutes.
We don't have to censor that out because he's black. He can say that.
Yeah, I am. Even though some people on the server thought I wasn't. Weird.
Alright, so going into this, how do we talk about the man? What's next for the man with the she?
Right. The final and the most greatest and most powerful when the she are in their deep dream, when they're entirely fairy and no longer human. Well, they should be. I'll read this verbatim. The all and beauty one. Birthright of the she is like the light of the sun. The appearance of the she is increased by an additional 4 points for a total of 8, making them painful to look at directly. All who see them are cowed, save for other she. And resisting their commands require a willpower point per scene, and is physically impossible to attack a she unprovoked.
Jesus.
That means not even using any powers, me just telling you to kneel, you have to spend a willpower to disobey me.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
That's kind of busted.
Pretty kino
So
power, huh?
You have like a Uno reverse card for dominate.
When I play this card out,
Yeah.
I can turn any situation around.
This is like how to put it? It's like true faith. This is all natural. There is nothing magical about this. So when you say I'm immune to magical influence, I respond, this isn't magical. This is just the natural world.
And now we're talking about the weirdest house. I mean, so alien to me, it kind of doesn't make sense.
Well, hold on, I'm not done yet.
What?
I'm not done yet.
What comes next?
Yeah, but they're mean. The noble bearing adds a powerful aura to life. But they become godlike and mean, terrifying to behold. Even a chimera fears their anger. One and the final one, +6 difficulty on all empathy rolls.
Fuck that.
The idea of a she even sharing a tear to a dying boggin is impossible. What the fuck? All right, I'm done.
So now we're talking about House Beaumain. Put that shield up on screen.
They're all about shields, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hold on.
So this, we're going to need a drink for this one because this story's fucking weird, man. So the guy that forms House Beaumain isn't even called Beaumain. He's called Jalendrel, is his name. Jalendrel the Good-Handed. Where Gwydion, all roads lead back to him, was riding on his horse when he sees the village being attacked. Next to that village, he sees a guy crying, and he finds out that guy who's crying is actually a she. He goes over and says, "Hey, you fucking pussy, you want to defend this village?" He says, "No, I can't defend the village. I've already seen what's going to happen. I can't do anything about it." Gwydion says, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then on cue, all of a sudden this giant like fire demon or some shit comes out of the burning village. And then Jalendrel immediately picks up a sword and runs in to fight him. The thing is, though, Jalendrel's only got one good arm. His other hand has already been scorched black by fire, and we don't know why. It's never explained. He gets in a fight with this demon that goes on for about an hour, and after fighting, finally steps the demon in the heart, kills it, and then Jalendrel succumbs to his wounds and falls over onto the side. Gwydion says, "Hey, do you want a medic? I can heal you." Jalendrel says, "No, I'm good. I'm just going down on the ground. I'm good." And Gwyn's saying, "Okay, well, what was going on? What was any of this?" And Jalendrel says, "I saw the future, and I knew that there was going to be a fight happening here with this fire demon. And I knew that if I participated in saving the villagers, I would not have the strength to fight the demon. And I managed to succeed, but I also know it's my destiny to die to this demon in this fight. And que sera, sera, what happens, happens. I'm going to die now." He dies. And that's the story.
Oh, good job.
And then some guy called Beaumain says, "Let's form a noble house in his honor, full of oracles, where if you thought that House Allenay could see the future, boy howdy, House Beaumain has them beat when it comes to future sight. At any point, you will receive a Malkavian vision as a House Bowmain member. You will then, this happens once a scene, basically. You then roll Intelligence and Gramarye, difficulty 8, to decipher what you saw, and it costs you no glamour to do this. Amazing.
Yep, good job. Good shit.
Along with it, too, a house member may attempt to bring a vision by meditating. You spend a point of willpower, roll your glamour difficulty against the difficulty of 11 minus your remembrance score, and you can just start doing this on command. Essentially, you can just start asking your storyteller, what's for hints throughout the entire game as this kind of house, and then you'll just get them. But your issue with House Bowmain, at any point, a Thalain, if it rolls Perception and Keening difficulty 7 and rolls 1 success, can immediately identify you within a mile radius, know that you're House Bowmain, and will target you.
Huh?
Yes.
That kind of fucking sucks.
So you're constantly pursued for the entire game.
It sounds like you're playing Wraith again.
You have the Super Oracle with the House Bowmain, but because they're so talented in Future Sight, they have a massive ass target paint on their backs, and now they're constantly being hunted by the Thalain, and by extension, this Unseelie Court.
Yeah, like immediately enters a city. I smell Thalain.
Instantly, you're pursued. And does this entire group have any real accomplishments? No, I don't think so. Their history details that after they were founded, their Duke Jeraman fell in love with an Ishu princess called Zubaida, who was killed by an iron weapon, and then Jeraman went insane and was presumed dead. His two successors, who shared a crown, Brandel and Markesh, investigated his death and found out that it was a suicide. Jeraman killed himself with a silver knife because he realized, with an iron knife, because he realized, if you're killed with an iron knife, you go to a special changeling heaven, and your soul is removed from the reincarnation cycle. And Jeraman decided, I'd rather die and be in heaven than live on Earth with this shit for another day longer. And that was the plan.
So he literally he didn't even martyr himself.
Yeah,
he just said, nah.
He just dipped.
This is some pussy ass shit. Bye.
That what happened after that is that Markesh was inspired by what he did and started a suicide cult within the house called the Harbingers of Exodus. Brendel tried stopping him and tried getting him to shut up. The rest of the Seelie court realized what Markesh was doing and thus imprisoned the entire house into dreaming. They said, oh, you want to die that bad? You want to go to this heaven so bad? Well, we're going to lock you up in dreaming jail and you're never going to leave. Every single member of the house was rounded up and thrown in jail. All of them. They didn't miss any of them. And I know you know Dragon Ball Z, Greed. Do you remember the hell that Frieza went to?
Yeah.
Kyle, to explain it to you, Frieza's punishment in hell was that he was put in a cocoon hanging from a tree inside of a forest filled with fairies. And his punishment was that every day he had to watch these fairies live a happy life, and he couldn't do anything about it. He just had to watch it. And that was eternal torture for him.
You know what? Inside of everybody else being happy.
Yes, that was the punishment. That was torture to him.
No, this makes sense. Frieza lives off of hate. This makes sense.
Like every single word that man says is a racial insult.
Monkey.
So of course, yes.
Nice.
And House Bowmain was put through the same punishment. They proceed to have no history section, Kyle. No history. There is no history.
Yep.
Until resurgence happens. Where House Bowmain sees a future of the Thalain killing all of the changelings during the Accordance War. And they realize, we gotta do something about it. They break out of dreaming hell on their own, a massive heist where, well, if the prison break was this easy, why didn't you do this to begin with? And then they proceed to break out of prison, and they fight the Thalain in a secret war that nobody ever notices, prevent the Thalain from killing everybody, and thus live the rest of their lives as unsung heroes. But they catch on to what they did anyway, because Soothsay is a power, and now House Bowmain is this group of knight errants who do the really shitty jobs that only they can do because they can see the future. They know how it's going to play out, and it usually ends in their deaths, but they're essentially a group of martyr knights that will go out, fight a fight that nobody else can do, die, and then live again.
That's actually badass.
And so there we go, and that's essentially the house for you. You might be thinking, well, isn't there more? No, that really is it. So,
good job.
Kyle, what do you think?
It was weird as hell and didn't really go anywhere.
It is weird. It's fucking weird.
And it didn't go anywhere.
We have this entire section of the book. Yeah, because nobody actually had plans to change you to dreaming, now did they?
No, it doesn't seem like it.
We'll have House Alund and House Gwydion carry the entire story, and every other house can suck a dick. Fuck it.
Yep.
We have one more house left to talk about. House Fiona.
If you want to play Diet Werewolves, you play these guys.
Exactly. If you want to play Werewolf the Apocalypse with no power scaling, you play this.
Yep.
Oh, now.
So wait, this wouldn't be Diet Werewolves. This would be Extra Strength Fiona.
And speaking of Fiona, we have a story for you, Kyle. Take a look at this shield.
Yes. That's a classic looking shield right there. I like that.
House Fiona. And next, Kyle, we're going to post something sexy. Here it is.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I can post that in the thing, but I do see
What
that.
the
She's got a large ass, you notice that?
No, it doesn't.
It's the whole thing. So the whole thing with House Fiona. What Fiona was that she was a lady that was under Gwydion's court. Where, once again, all roads lead to House Gwydion. She had a whole posse with her. Her crew included people like Epona, who is a horse puka. And her whole claim to fame is that she fought a guy called the Fashan, which was a super evil red cap that only had one eye, one arm, and one leg after something cut off the rest of the stuff. And he was a killer. He was a serial killer. And she proceeded to hunt him down as what was supposed to be a scouting mission before it turned into an assassination. She ends up getting the killing blow when none of other Gwydion's men can. And Gwydion was so impressed, he said, "Do you want to work in politics?" And she said, "Yeah." And then we have House Fiona.
We're great.
Amazing. I took a story that took fucking 2 pages to recite, and I summarized it in 1.
Impressive.
Sounds about right.
And what did Fiona proceed to do as a politician? Well, she didn't do any politics at all. She just fucked werewolves.
I mean, hey, that's politics, right?
I mean, yeah. That is a form of politics.
As with what she was doing. We mentioned before in our remake of the Fiona episode that was Danu who slept with the Fiona and created the Fiona tribe. Well, then after Danu did that, Fiona kept doing it. She ended up taking Danu's place as the woman that fought werewolves, and essentially got the entire Fiona on her side because of it.
Her legs are splayed with a log and laid by the whore that we adore.
The appearance 7 pussy greed was so good it got every Fiona man to fight for her.
I mean, to be fair, I just talked to you about the meme of she. You know.
And a whole story with Fiona after this point. Her only remaining accomplishment, Kyle, is that she's the woman that told the Fiona, "Do not support the Impergium. The Impergium is a bad idea." And the werewolves quit doing the Impergium because she asked them to.
Nah. Right. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say at the end of time. I don't care what anyone told you.
The pussy was that good, Greed. It stopped the Impergium.
Yep. Dylan went.
I was going to know here. Yes, I get it. If the Impergium, big mean, big sad, it killed humans. But you know what also did? It kept humanity from overpopulating.
It did, but it didn't stop Fiona from populating.
Oh, certainly not.
Yep.
It's her favorite thing to do.
You went on E6 and you looked up the abdominal bulge tag.
Ew.
Oh, hold on. I'll goddamn Irish or Scottish. They just fuck more to get to be spiked.
Because Kyle knows that picture. That's a cross for a werewolf.
Yeah, that is.
That's a lot of penis to put inside of you.
It probably is. Yeah.
Johnny. Everyone knows there's no sexual dimorphism when a werewolf goes to the war form. There's no genitalia. It's meant to kill, not fuck.
That's because they couldn't draw the penis during these pictures. You can't just have a bunch of game books with a bunch of penises in it.
No.
Baldur's Gate 3 can do it.
No. Well, I'll say this here. look, I get the idea, but it's the war form. Why would their genitalia or breasts even show up in that form?
Because you slapped somebody with it, that's why.
You know what? I'm not even going to bother with that one.
If Sasha Vicos has a penis, then we can put it on a werewolf. That's what we can do.
I'm done. Let's move on. I'm done.
And essentially, that's it. How does Fiona have any accomplishment beyond that? No, they're just the nobles that you had sex with. This is your sexual fantasy of don't you want to fuck a princess? Don't you want to fuck a queen or king or a prince or some other sort of position of power? Well, House Fiona exists just for that. That's it. We're going to do politics through sexual coercion, and that's how they operated as a house.
I mean, it worked.
There was no greater scheme to this. And it worked so well that every commoner was on their side. To a point where, when the Sundering and the Shattering came around, the members of House Fiona were allowed to stay in the commoner freeholds with no pushback whatsoever. And what they did for the share of hospitality, as the Fiona were opening portals to Arcadia, they said, let me leave these tools and these treasures with you, and I will ask for them back when I return one day. I have no idea when that's going to be. And they jump into the portals, and then they're gone. And then they come back during the resurgence, and they come over to the commoners and say, hey, can we have our tools back? And the commoners actually respond in fair and give them the tools back.
Oh,
cool.
Sweet.
And essentially the Fiona were just there, going right back to sex as usual, only just life was worse for everybody now. It was also during the resurgence that Fiona herself, who did not go into Arcadia during the Shattering, finally died and stayed dead. As for why she did this, it's kind of implied that she saw that this was the beginning of the end with Changelings, that even though the resurgence happened, we were still screwed and nothing was going to fix it. If the resurgence couldn't bring back Changelings into power, nothing was going to. And just finally decided to just walk into a very banal English town and just died.
Now, I'll simply say this here, since we're getting near to the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Get the idea of banality, but minus the, I'm not gonna hear the AI talk, but minus everything else, the world still is rather creativity. It's just a slow death. You really think about it. Banality hasn't won yet, not by a long shot.
It's like the apocalypse. The apocalypse has started, but there's not going to be a day in Werewolf where the apocalypse happens.
No.
Yeah, this is a sad reality here. It's like small towns in America. It doesn't die with a shout. It dies with a quiet whimper.
Yes. You're eventually just going to flame out one day and nobody's going to notice you, which is what House Fiona do. Very similar to the Torador or the Cult of Ecstasy. This is just your house that only exists to throw parties. We're here to throw a sex party. We're here to throw a banquet. We're here to organize everything. We are entirely Seelie court social relationships. If you're a commoner that's very disenfranchised with the Seelie court, well, don't mind if we do send a member of House Fiona to come in and shut you right up. And now you no longer have a reason to quit the Seelie court. That's the plan. That's the plan, Kyle. That's the plan.
Yep. Let's repopulate. Let's go.
When it comes to personality, they're super romanticist. They're all about nature. They're all about beauty. They're all about the whimsy and the memories and the nostalgia and the moment and the emotional highs and trying to prevent that emotional low from coming us by any means necessary. And they're all about the love. Just any sort of fantasy you have about how fun it would be to be a princess with very little responsibility involved, that is House Fiona. Very quickly to summarize for you, that's House Fiona.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And when it comes to her boon and flaw, defined to the last, Fiona and she are renowned for their great courage. They feel no fear, period. If there is an effect that causes fear, it will not affect them, period. You cannot dominate them to feel fear. You cannot use presence to make them feel fear. You cannot use wolf at the door as a red talent to make them feel fear. Nothing does it. It never happens, period.
I mean, let's be fair here. If you walk butt naked to be gangbanged by werewolves, you have nothing to fear.
You got no chill, exactly.
Yep.
Your flaw is that, thanks to you having no sense of fear, your character will have an obsession to just run directly into danger, no matter what the danger is. And you need, there's no mechanic here saying it's a roll to resist or anything. The minute you see some sort of chaos happening, your character must participate in it.
It's like me
Hold on,
when
let
I
me
see a
find it.
mosh
Let me-
pit.
Oh, wait, hold on. You been in mosh pits?
Oh, dude, all the
Yeah.
fucking time. Have you not seen the pictures I share where I have a bloody nose? Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Kyle's
cool.
missing half of his teeth because of it.
I do have all my teeth, but no, I've gotten fucked up in a couple of pits. It's great.
Yeah, Kyle's lost half of his teeth, and now he's got the riffraff teeth.
If
No,
I
no, no. Let me
see
be
a
very clear
fucking
when I say
mosh
this
pit,
here.
I am bolting in there, man. I want to be in that shit.
No, this is house. This is their house response right now.
What?
I put it in studio pages.
Okay,
Where is
hang
it?
on. Let's see it.
Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
Nah, I would. Exactly.
Is that? Don't mind if I do run to Sukuna. I'll win that.
But like, no, Kyle, my dear friend, badass. You gave my respect for this here. Your negative for being Jewish has went away.
Tell me how you really feel, King.
It is. So is there anything deep into House Fiona? Well, not really.
No.
Not really. That's
Go.
the book. The book
crack
crawls
open a
on
barrel.
for longer, but there really isn't anything else to talk about in particular.
Crack open a bottle, go fuck a werewolf, and have a good time.
They also call vampires children of Lilith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
Well, I mean,
So-
doesn't House Gwydon call them that too?
Well, yeah, the Seelie court pieced together that Cain was actually a fraud who stole all of his knowledge from Lilith.
And then killed Abel anyway?
Well, no, this was after he killed Abel.
Oh.
Yeah, hold on, wait. Stop with that Bahari propaganda. Get that Bahari propaganda.
Yeah,
out of here.
Cain never knew how to use disciplines. He stole all the information from Lilith that he was slamming her out, and then after he got what he wanted out of her, he ditched her. And that's the plot.
You know, yeah, it
she
sounds
wanted
about
that. She wanted that primordial dick.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Lilith technically a demon?
Yeah, kind of sort. Yeah, like there's like the whole implication that she is.
Yeah, I'll be very clear here. I wish they would have clarified Lilith a lot more in What a
But
Darkness Lord.
there's also the theory of the apocalypse that she's an incarnate of Gaia. She's Dark Gaia.
Sounds
Is
about
another form
right.
that Lilith exists in.
Yeah.
Right. You have Ishtara, who's the good version of Gaia, and then Lilith, who's the evil version of her.
I
they're two
mean, if
separate
that was
entities.
the case, then she'll be more like Gaia from Greek mythology,
Yeah.
where she birthed Typhus just to fuck over the Greek gods.
Where that technically is Lilith's plan by this point, just to take away everything Cain built and wait for the right moment to do so.
I mean, to be fair here, if you go by the Bahari book, it basically said she gave birth to like hordes of monsters and just waited to unleash them on the world.
You know what? Agreed with you saying that. That led me to realize something.
Huh?
I've been wanting to do an episode on the Book of Nod, but because the Book of Nod's a picture book, it's very hard to do an episode about that. But
Yeah.
I realized we'll combine that with the Bahari. That'll be what we do. We'll
Nah.
talk about Lilith and the Book of Nod in the same episode.
Now you gonna take about Lilith. I'm gonna be a follower of Cain. We're gonna be two sides of this. Fuck you, Lilith.
You're going glaze Cain the entire episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the priest of Cain, motherfucker.
Is there? Kyle, would you play as a member of the She?
Yes.
Maybe.
Of a
Once I
of a
get to
Seelie court?
grips with how the hell Changeling works, then I'd consider it.
You would work with the City Court?
More than likely, yes.
Because I have all these houses. Which one would you go for?
Just because if I want to build shit, I'd probably just play a boggin or a knocker. But
Yeah.
if I wanted to just, swing a big fuck off sword and act all high and mighty, I'd probably go with House Gwydon. If I wanted to, be the peasant prince, I would be Liam.
Well, there we go. Because there's a lot of stuff you can do. Because after all, this is one of the few truly virtuous groups amongst the World Darkness. Now, you do have a few bad apples, but these are good guys.
Yes.
Changelings are, how to put this here, they're not, okay, I'll make this very clear. Changelings as a whole aren't necessarily good or evil because they're still born from the myth and legends like nightmares. People
Yes.
believe fairies took away their children, therefore changelings will steal your children. Actually, hold on. I just realized here, you remember that thing in a video game or was it in a book where the devil said, I am what you imagine to be. I am the beast that will destroy you, but I'm also the man that will talk to you. You think I'm the man that will talk to you.
And that's the plan. See me as humane. See me humanely, and I'll appear as a human. See me as a monster, and I'll appear monstrous.
Yeah, no, that is actually fairies.
Exactly that. And we're seeing this in the Tuesday Mage game I'm running too, where the changes are playing a directly antagonistic role. So everything my players think about the changes right now are just them being nightmare monsters.
Yeah.
They have that capacity.
Also, I'm gonna post this. I'm not sorry.
The hell is that?
Your mama.
Yeah,
Fuck
no,
is
get
that?
that shit the fuck up out of here.
Why is my mama so short?
I'm getting rid of that. I don't want to look at that. I'm getting rid of
Your
that.
mama's
I
so
don't wanna
short
look
you can
at
see her
that.
feet on her driver's license.
All right, I'm done. What? Look here.
She got tickets to see Xbox Live.
I tried so hard to find a good image for a red cap, and I don't want to pay a fucking artist. I'm
Just
sorry.
get a woman who just has a red hat, and that's all you gotta do.
Nah, I want to do
what
a dude.
Johnny did, and you make what was her name? Or not Power, but Diet Power, whatever you named her.
Mighty.
That's it.
Nah, I will make this very clear. Why there's so many sexy women? Why?
There's not enough sexy women.
I agree. There needs to be more.
Yes, I said to you all Americans, where is sexy footage?
There needs to be more sexy women in real life. I don't want 90% of the art to be sexy women. I like dudes, please.
I don't want to be horny no more.
I'm sorry, King. What would you say?
I may have misspoke.
Yeah, I think you did, King. Good job.
It's the Freudian slip moment. You see, this is what happens when you become porn brain.
Okay, let me
never goon.
When I look for my NPCs and characters, I don't want them all to be women.
I don't know. Most of my players are men, mostly just because, like, I don't know. I haven't made a whole lot of great female characters.
Well, TRMGs is a mostly dude thing. Like 70% of
it's a dude thing. There's very few biological women in this hobby.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I like how you said biological women.
Because you have to specify in 2026. That's why.
He's got a point.
Yeah, you do.
Anyhow, play the she. They're cool.
There it is. This is one of the few aspects of Change to Dreaming I think actually is pretty well designed.
Yes.
Please, you legitimately here. I know this may sound disgusting, but legitimately here, the fart of a she probably smells better than any mortal perfume.
So we're gonna have an unseelie she cam girl selling just like jarred fart.
Is you know what I like the most? Cake farts.
Cake farts.
Oh, let's get this done.
Oh yeah, I just
I forgot that video existed. It's so disgusting.
Real life, fuck you both.
This is terrible. Why are we talking about this in the she episode?
Kyle, pull the cord already in the episode.
Go to bed. Good night.
Jan.